Hello, everyone. Okay, hold on, everyone. I can't hear you. I think it would say something. Hey, hey, everyone. Just getting everything set up. We have a special guest today. I'm going to let her go ahead and introduce herself. Cannot wait for our topic today. All right, yeah, there we go. To stream. Hey,
Can you hear me?
wait for our topic today. Yes, I can hear you. All right, yeah, there we go.
Yes.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
I think you should try to turn YouTube off in the background or mute it.
I did. Yes.
I think you should try to turn YouTube off in the background or mute it.
I did. Yes.
I think you should try to turn YouTube off in the background or mute it.
I did. Yes.
I think you should try to turn YouTube off in the background. Do you hear that?
Why does it keep repeating?
I don't know. I think you should try to turn YouTube off in the background. Do you hear that?
Yeah. Why does it keep repeating?
That's strange. I think you should try to turn YouTube off in the background.
Yeah. Why does it keep repeating?
Do you want to try to go back out and come back in?
Yeah.
That works. That's strange. That's never happened. Happy Father's Day to all of the good fathers. And if you're one of the so-called black most involved fathers, I'm not talking to you. Because we know that you guys are not in your kids' lives like that. So for the ones that are, happy Father's Day. But for the dusties that are going over here taking pictures with their kids, just for this day, I'm not talking to you. I'm charging my computer up a little bit. Sorry, guys. I'm at my mom's house right now. Glad I didn't leave to get on this stream. Just waiting for her to come in, and I'll go ahead and add her back to the stream, and we can start this conversation. Let's see. Coming on here earlier today, so hopefully, let's see if there's any people that want to join us. All right, there we go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, great. I don't know what was going on. How are you doing today?
I am good, sis. You are so pretty. Can you hear
Thank
me?
you. I bet
Yes.
you are too if
Great.
I could see
I
you.
don't know what was going on. How are you doing today? I am good, sis. You are so pretty. Can you hear
Thank
me?
you. I bet you are too
It
if I
keep
could see you.
repeating.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I don't
What
know
was
why it's doing that.
how are
Are
you
you
doing?
on your
I am good, sis.
tablet?
Let me go out. I'm finna go on my page.
I bet you are. Mm-hmm. You can try that. um. So I didn't really know what to title this one because we're just gonna be talking. Like I talked to her yesterday. Great woman, very smart, and she knows what's going on. She's not black male identified, and this is what we need: more women waking up and seeing that these dudes are not it. They're not safe. They're not doing anything. They don't value marriage. They don't value family. So why should we continue to entertain them? And I just go on Twitter, as you guys know, and I'm just seeing all of these people saying, "Oh, happy Father's Day." And let's see if I can add her to the stream. Okay, there we go. Let's get you up here. Okay, I think it should work now, right?
I'm scared.
There we go.
Oh,
Okay, it seems like it's working now.
I'm scared.
Oh no.
It's still repeating.
Okay, it seems like it's working now. I
I'm
wonder why
scared.
it's doing that. I
Oh
shouldn't
no.
even.
It's still repeating.
Are you doing this on your phone?
From my
I
tablet.
wonder why it's doing
Tablet.
that. I shouldn't even.
Now, what's this? Give me the laptop. So we finna try it from the laptop and the charger to go with it. From my tablet.
Yeah. Okay. Try that. Yeah.
Now, what's this? Give me the laptop. So we finna try it from the laptop and the charger to go with it. From my tablet.
Yeah. Okay. Try that. Yeah.
Now, what's this? Give me the laptop. So we finna try it from the laptop and the charger to go with it. From my tablet.
Yeah. Okay. Try that. Yeah.
Now, what's this?
Can you maybe try to mute YouTube in the background?
It's not on
Hey
in the
Jedi
background.
Mike, how are you doing?
Yeah. Is that Jedi Mike?
Try to mute. Yeah, the man. Hey Jedi Mike, how are you doing?
Is that Jedi Mike?
Try to mute. Yeah, the man. Hey Jedi Mike, how are you doing?
Okay. Hold on real quick. I'm finna go out.
Okay. So, you know, I'm looking at everything that's going on right now. Yesterday was Juneteenth. Um, and I think that black women, let me see, I actually screenshotted this because I think that this is a big problem and it needs to be exposed. Let's see. Hmm. Okay, let me see what this woman said. Okay, in fact, I have to go all the way there. Yeah, definitely join Jedi Mike. We would need a black man's perspective and a smart one too. Please join, definitely. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So this woman posted black women care is trending, but what about black men care? That's that shit I don't like. And it's like, can black women have anything? Can black women just have any type of peace without being um without being downed and degraded. Like, there's a reason Black Women Care is trending because we need it. We literally have channels like the Manosphere and Red Pill channels that are out here disrespecting Black women. And it's crazy to hear people call up. I was just listening to Cynthia G's live before I came on here. And there's literally Black men that are coming up here saying, "Why are you doing this content? Why are you talking about Black men?" And then she asked, "So since you guys want to talk about Black unity, let's talk about Black women, or let's talk about Black men." Let's try this. Okay, you on the laptop? It sounds good so far.
I'm on the phone.
Okay, sounds good. So let's try it.
So
But what I was just talking about, I don't know if you heard it, but I saw this tweet on Twitter yesterday, and Black women, let's see, Black Women Care was trending yesterday, and this pick me posted, "Black Women Care is trending, but what about Black Men Care?" That's that shit I don't like.
um, you know
Um,
women are about their canes. You know how to pick me get about their canes, huh?
right, and they're all, of course. I swear, and I think I told you this yesterday. If I were to sit here and say, just today I just change up my tune and I start saying, "Black men, let's just love them," and what about the Black fathers that are involved? They're the most involved fathers.
That
And
I don't believe
it,
that shit. I don't.
yeah, if I just start changing up and started saying what they want to hear, they're gonna love it and they're gonna be like, "Yes, queen, we love you." But then the next day, if I just start saying all Black men, first of all, I've never said all Black men, so I don't even know
Yeah,
where this comes from. Like,
right. But
it,
that's
it
for the sake of art. I never said all of them either, but most of them, they know they be trash. But a lot of them,
exactly.
yeah, but you don't have to say all. Nobody really says all. Not even Cynthia G says all. Nobody says.
Yes, and she has said in multiple streams, like they forget, like and the crazy thing is, has literally said it's not all Black men. There are some good Black men out here, and she has said multiple times, shout out to them. Like,
Right,
if you're a good Black man, shout out to them. But
right.
just even today, for she just did a live and was just saying how it's crazy because they'll come on here and try to check me about what I'm saying on my content, but then when they go to Kevin Samuels and stuff, they're literally eating up everything that he says in
As
disrespect to
long as
Black women.
as long as Kevin continues to drag Black women or be just say negative things towards women, Black men are going to love him, prop
Yep.
him up, because when he used to do it to them, they used to niggas used to hate Kevin Samuels. I know this.
Hmm.
I used to listen to some of his stuff before he blew up, and he used to get on men all the time. They hated him, but then they'll question Black women as to why we don't like him. We Black women feel the same way y'all felt when he was talking.
Hmm.
Oh, why is that so hard?
It doesn't make sense. And when that white man got on Cynthia G's platform,
Man,
I mean, and he said what he said. She was just reading the comments from people, Black women and Black men.
uh-huh.
There's a woman this morning. I'm talking to this woman on Instagram, and I was sharing this post. So this girl, she's delusional, of course. She says, "Y'all let a white man feel confident enough to get on YouTube and say y'all daddies, uncles, papas, brothers, cousins, sons, brothers, etc. aren't high value. This is why I refuse to root for all women. Some of you hoes got us going backwards."
But they'll let a white man talk about their mother, aunties, sisters, cousins,
Sorry.
uh, and still hate for Black. If
Exactly.
anybody talk, let me tell you something. When it come down to other race, if you talk about white woman, a Hispanic woman, a Asian woman, their men are not gonna join in with you.
Exactly.
But talk about a our men gonna join in. Black men gonna join in on that party.
Yep,
They're
I've seen it.
loyal. That's why I don't want to hear that. One woman had the nerve to reply to me talking about she ain't never heard black men say they didn't want black women. I said, bitch, you the reason why you ain't never heard it is because you don't want to hear it.
You don't
Because
want to
that's
hear it.
all we hear all the time. It's always somebody coming out saying how they prefer, you know, the other groups of people, which is fine. Your
Hmm.
fine, just don't put us down.
That's all I'm saying, because there's a guy that, okay, mind you, there's a pick me on Twitter. She's always stroking black men's egos and just saying like, oh, black men need love too, they need appreciation, like, oh, that's good and everything. I can agree to that, but at the same time she ended up saying like, why is it that black men have a problem with obese women, but obese black women or overweight black women, but they, you will still steady see them with a fat white woman or whatever.
Because
And
they see
my
white better. Because a
yeah,
lot of
they,
things I see them
mhm,
put up off of other races, they will not put up with off of us.
yep.
I promise you, another race don't even have to know how to cook. They
Mhm.
just know how to make sandwiches. Let a black woman not know how to cook. Girl, please. They're gonna be
Yeah, it's the
the
running joke
end
now
of the
about the
world.
chicken Alfredo.
Man, it's gonna be the end of the world. It's a lot of things they will put up.
Mhm.
They'll put up with attitudes, anger, all that. Only people not allowed to do feel that way is black women. We're not allowed to have attitudes. We're not allowed to be express our feelings when we're upset about
Mhm.
things. We are called every name. You know, black women aren't allowed to be humans. They're not
Yep.
seen as humans at all. Because if they
And that.
saw us as humans, they would understand when we're upset and mad
Mhm.
about certain things. They would not attack us. They wouldn't sit and
Yep.
blame us for everything that they do.
I agree. And I think that she actually had her wake up call because this pro black man jumped on her like, stop dick checking us, basically. Like, you can't tell us who we can't be with. It's like she never said anything. She just saying, what is the issue? Like, either
That's
we
right.
gonna love it or we gonna love it all, or we gonna hate it all. What's the difference? Like, and for me, I don't care who dates who. Like, I don't know why they keep saying that. In fact, if y'all want to date the Dusties, please take them. Any man that dates outside the dates white women or whatever the case may be, you can have them. I don't care. But
Right.
it's just the fact that when you date them, it's like they're looking at it as a badge of honor and trying to dangle it in front of your face. Like, oh, look, this one Dusty told me today. He keeps arguing with me about the feminism, welfare
Ain't
to
got nothing to do.
the yeah, mind you, I never say anything about that, but he keeps bringing that up in every argument. So I'm like, so black men are weak. That's all I can think of.
And,
But
and hell, though the white women, they was feminists.
Exactly. That's what I keep. They started the feminist movement in America. I'm
But
confused.
that's what I say. It's just a problem when black women do it. Everybody else is
Hmm.
allowed to do whatever. It's a problem when black women do it.
And that's the issue that I have. But it's like you keep black women's mouth name in your mouth. If you are so happy with Beckisha and Maria and Lingling, go with them. We don't care. But it's like you always talking about. Well, the reason. One guy said. All right, Jed, I might just join whenever you can. The link is in the comments. We would love to have you.
I might.
Um, yeah, he's a good guy.
So,
I've seen
I,
him on The Honest Truth.
right.
Playing fun.
I remember it. True. But I'm just tired of it. I feel like it's just never like I feel like black women can't never be themselves. Like even when I've
Hmm.
talked to black women who date out, a lot of them tell me they cannot be themselves around black men.
Yeah.
And it's sad because black men will start thinking this, black men will start thinking that, you know, and start treating them certain types of ways because they feel like this or it's hard. So I just feel like If black people are not going to get along, I think we can move on and still respect one another.
Not
That's
black
how.
men. No, black men. We belong to black men. We're black men's property. We can't. No, we can't go anywhere.
But
They can. They
then
can, but we can't. We belong to them. We're
they out being with whoever they want to. And my thing is this: I think they really don't want black women. They just want black women to sit there and wait for them,
Mhm.
just in case things don't work with another race. They'll have someone to fall back on because they know once black
Mhm.
there, that's it for them. They know that because really
That's
don't
right.
nobody else them like that unless they got money.
Yeah, Cynthia G hit them with the OK Cupid. They keep throwing this OK Cupid study around or survey or whatever, and they said, okay, well, how did black men rank on there? And they were like, that's not the point. Black women were the least desirable. Okay, but how did black men rank
That's what I'm saying.
according
They'll
to?
shame us about stuff. They'll shame us about stuff that's true about them too. Don't nobody want them either. Men
Mhm.
are the initiators of marriage. So men are the ones who
Exactly.
right. So they'll be able to get married a little bit more. But don't nobody really want them, girl, unless they got
Mm-mm.
some motherfucking money for them. Outside of that, that's the only time they really get a good, decent other group of the race when they got money.
Right.
Paying that
Mhm.
person up with your bullshit. That just simple as that.
Yeah, and I think that it's important to um realize this. This is why we need to know that. I just watched last night I watched Divested Zealots live on the Black
Man,
Fathers.
I love man. I
Man, when I
love.
tell you, I said, yes, this is what we need. We need to hear this stuff. We don't nobody listen, nobody finds joy in knowing this stuff. Nobody feels joy in saying that these men are degenerates. No one has any joy in this. And that's why I'm not saying all black men because I don't think that. If I thought that I would say all black men. I'm but
Mm-hmm.
can we just be honest? The fact that it's the majority, this is sad. We're gonna keep
Is
enabling them by
is
saying, well, it's not all, but it's the majority.
right, and
And
that's
in
my
order
with black women.
to heal our communities, we need to address them. Y'all worried about the twerking, the weave, and the single mothers. Who is the leader of the community?
They're creating these single mothers. On top of that, let me ask you something. If
Hmm.
do you think if the standard of beauty in the black community was a woman that looked like India Irie or Lettucey or somebody, do you think black women
Hmm.
will really be wearing weave? I don't think
Exactly.
they would, not that much, because our
Exactly.
the black men go at because plenty of black women have told me that they get more attention with weave in their hair than they do without it.
Yeah, from the black
So
man.
when
Yep.
you say you don't like hair, because your actions show different.
Hmm.
You say you
But
don't like it, but you give all your to the women who wear it.
hey, Jedi. Hey, Mike.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Can you hear him?
Okay.
What's going on, Mike?
How you doing, ma'am? How you guys doing?
Hey, we're fine.
I can't.
Yeah, but no, yeah. First of all, I know it says Father's Day. Well, I say Happy Father's Day. To ones who actually stepped up and everything. My father included and
Yeah,
everything.
right.
And so now that this is, I know we have a show, and I think tonight, well, Honest Truth is coming on. And I think on this holiday, I think a lot of people are gonna be upset. So I'm already expecting something to happen. But I'm gonna tell you, this is like, one thing I was hearing for watching your content on your channel, ma'am, and I just want to say, just like when you showed up on the panel, with the honest truth, that it really moved me, and that's why I
Yeah,
was just
thank
like,
you.
that opportunity, like talk to you like in person and stuff. Well, thank you for having me.
Of
Um,
course.
but one of the things that what I was seeing, when you seen this conversation go on today, is like I had a live stream or show I have been doing. I'm working on a series just of talking about providing solutions for bettering young black men because they're targeting
Great.
the youth, because you
Hmm.
can't really tell a grown man to do basically to do any, the to improve himself. He's gonna make up his mind on his own. But the young man
Mhm.
himself, they're emulating the
Right.
people they look up to. As I talk about as the power of black men, it's like we have a lot of influence than we don't think we do. Like especially when I was deconstructing the film The Color Purple, how like the character everyone talked about Mister, how he had a huge
Mhm.
influence on Harpo. Who Harpo, he wasn't inherently a bad guy to begin with. It's just that he
Mhm.
emulated his father. And then so the problem is that you see the spirit. I mean, I'm identified as Christian. Is like there's a spirit of this is where it's like we're not adding an expectation of edifying to the men that were in terms of the boys that were fortunate to be men
Right.
because we don't have a level of expectation for them. So then it's like, well, we let the world decide to tell us, to define who we are. And then what happened is like, well, we look into the things that are that basically create excuses instead of solutions, i.e., welfare, i.e.,
Mhm.
obesity, or you're overweight, or hey, single mothers and stuff, or hey,
Mhm.
the hair and everything like that. Now, the conversation topic you talk about the hair, see, because as I said mentioned before, how like I used to like had the mindset of that like that in the past. But the thing what
Right.
I was told by like people my age and where I grew up, I was in the DMV area most of my life. And one thing that I was told by the black women that were my friends was that they were told that that their natural hair wasn't beautiful from their own fathers. So that's why I
Mhm.
thought that the hair weave itself was a problem, just because like, well, you basically are telling their own state that they're not beautiful, so they're gonna get other stuff, the weave and everything, which are getting more attention, which ma'am stated. But the problem is like this is just not even worth the argument because there's many more bigger
Right.
problems than just the hair and everything. And so I
Mhm.
use it. My point came from more of an insecurity thing, but the men created that. You're the one telling your like the father
Yeah.
telling your daughter that your hair isn't
Right.
beautiful, hair looking nappy, which is making them get the whole weave in the first place that you also continue to complain about. So it's just like you're damn if you do, damn if you don't. So um, I was just saying this is a whole
Yeah. A lot of
like
women,
what? Go ahead. Oh, sorry, ma'am. Go ahead.
a lot of women are
Go ahead.
trying to be what they think black. A lot of women are trying to be what they think black men want. Like they think that, like, if like men want like girls with big butts, you see a lot of women buying asses now. And when a man says, okay, well, I don't like weave, but he gives all his attention to the women who wear the weave and have that straight, silky hair, that sends a message to the women saying, this is what he really wants, because his actions, he's always, that's where I think that comes from. That's why I asked the question, if women like India Ivory or let us see where the standard of beauty, do you think black women would be wearing weave or anything like that?
Well,
If that
can
was the
can I comment
standard
on
of
that?
beauty, if those were the types of women that men were actually after.
Hmm. Yeah,
Go
can I
ahead.
comment on that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just this whole thing of I think the first standard is it's back to that it's Father's Day. It's from the father. Like the first man should be telling you that you're beautiful is your own father. Because what happened is when you don't have that, then they're gonna be seeking the attention over for other men and believe the first
Mhm.
dude that tells them, oh hey, I like your um you look pretty, and then and instantly get into put all their eggs in one basket into that, and then basically getting manipulated or and having broken relationship, which increases in the trauma. But the main thing we also talk about was as us as men, like issue that we always complain about attitude. I always keep talking about if you refer to the movie to Remember the Titans with Denzel
Mhm.
Washington, when the scene where the two football players, who one was black and one was white, the white player was getting on the black player saying like, "Hey, why you not doing your job?" When it's like, "Dude, you're the leader. Why you not telling
Right.
the boys
Right.
to offend us because when we're on the field, they're not blocking for us, and yet we're supposed to be on the same team." And he says
Mhm.
like, "Dude, I don't like your attitude." And he said, and then he replied, which is the message we always say to when as men we always complain about the attitude. Attitude reflects leadership.
Attitude.
Right. Yep.
So I mean that just like period. There's no ifs ands buts about it. See, and I was
Mhm.
saying that we creating those bunch of excuses for that because for me, like I can sit up here and complain about all this bitterness and rage and you might come from the past and everything. Like I said, most of the folks in the manosphere they come from a place of hurt. But but what problem is like you don't when you're using your hurt as a way for bitterness and actually instead of okay, let me just better myself, knowing that might be in a particular season. Because I like everybody. you're just making a generalization just because you had one bad experience of just one person.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, like when all these women are, ain't nothing, ain't worth nothing or anything. It just that's just saying come from a place of bitterness because that's what they enjoy and what they stay in. But ain't nothing edifying what they're doing, and you see that when they're not valuing marriage, not valuing family, children, even with the point
Mm-hmm.
where saying that we're raised by single mothers, even when you have a man want to be a stepfather, even then they get ridiculed for saying, man, why are you taking care of someone else's kids?
Yep. I just seen it personally on Twitter. Like I saw that on Twitter. I literally said, you know what? After seeing the comments, women divest. Don't even try to um find a needle in a haystack. Like if you don't find a good man now, divest. A
Mhm.
good black man, I would say. And I hate to say that. Like I don't understand why people think that women find joy in saying that. I personally don't. I am with a black man. He's a pretty good black man, but can I just discount all of the other experiences that women had with black men because I have one anecdotal experience? Like, and my thing is that when we're talking about just having um just the fact that I'm saying all of these things about black men need to lead, black men need to do this, black men are the highest unemployed, black men are the highest homeless rate, whatever statistics are coming out, I don't find joy in that. I am very disheartened by all of these statistics. I'm very upset. I want it to change. What can we do? Like, and it has to come from the men. They're not listening to the women because as I've seen on the Honest Truths panel, when he has all of those manosphere and red pill guys, they're more inclined to listen to you more than say if Annalicia calls or something, or Lorraine calls. They're more inclined to listen to a man. Now that doesn't mean they're gonna just do whatever you say, but they're more inclined to hear you out at least than the women. Like
That's true.
they're
As a
automatically
woman,
listen just to argue. Go
Well,
ahead.
like, well, I mean, on that point, see, I think is I can understand
Arsenal is a motherfucker. Okay, I'm a G.
Right.
but no, it's like, but listen, it's like when you even go on to like, I used to be like my first introduction or anything to this stuff, like was like I was on Annalicia's like panel
Mm-hmm.
before, like that was the first time I was on anything, and I basically roasted this dude that was like I think he was like 18 or 20, just still talking about like about his life experience and stuff. I'm like, dude, you haven't even lived enough to say and having
Right.
purpose, and also the fact that I think men in my age too, because even then there were like some points that I made that weren't valid. And even then I had my friends who watched that stream and told me like, okay, this was your strengths and this was your weaknesses. And then that's why I say I have brothers who hold me accountable and stuff like that, because I'm not afraid to admit when I was wrong. Or to
Yeah.
talk about humility, that's what masculinity is. Like, well, it's pride, it's terms of, that's to me is a demasculinity thing, because the whole term of toxic masculinity or whatever. To me, I like to use the term limited masculinity, because you're limiting
Mm-hmm.
yourself from fully reaching your full potential, what comes from
Right.
fully being what a man is supposed to be. So and when I was seeing there, like someone talk about how she just goes off and rants and everything like that. Like, listen, regardless, you want to complain about how she's ranting. I'm like, I had to sit back there because I'm like, yeah, she's a difficult person to talk to. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, but
I
that's
just think she's passionate. I like it.
no,
I
right,
live
right.
for it.
No, right. There's some, but what I'm saying is that for the folks that are complaining how she's acting, like, black man, we created her. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're thinking about terms of like you seen she might be angry, so I'm like, I'm more passionate about other stuff that I'm not related to, like to this type of issue. How I might go off on
Yeah.
something like I'm angry, but I'm just passionate about it. When we talk about sports or anything like that, like I'm gonna go off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
That's
ain't
how
nothing
every man
personal.
is. Yep.
And then when the
Is
conversation
that
over, like, hey
Annalicia
man,
you
let's go get
talking
some
about?
food. That's out.
Yes, Annalicia, I love her.
But she's funny though. I'm like, I'm not like,
Yes.
I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, I know how to, like, especially for my own mother, like, when she's raising me, 'cause I'm an only child, but like, she comes
Mm-hmm.
from a place where she's been like, I'll just be vulnerable
Girl,
with y'all, but like,
I
she's been
love.
like beaten.
I can't
What's
wait
it?
to go back to Great
Wait,
Woman.
what?
I love her to do.
You're muted now somehow.
No, so I didn't want to cut her off. Oh yeah, she muted. Yeah.
She's muted somehow.
Oh.
But go ahead. What were you saying about your mother? You don't want to be vulnerable.
No, I said that I said I'll just be vulnerable to you guys. Like, sure, like my mother, like she'd been like beaten, been like raped, molested, and everything like that. But she was in a very
Mhm.
abusive relationship with a man before she met my father, right? And like so she had every reason to hate, on like
Mhm.
terms of black men and everything. But then like that's why I advocate where I do when purpose of my one of the purposes of my channel is that I came from my father, what he did when when he protected her and pulled her out of that relationship and stuff like that.
Right.
Even then, he stepped up as a leader, and even though they've been married for over 27 years,
Mm.
and my thing is that like, that's the black men I emulate. So when it's saying when I'm talking about holding men accountable, you think I hate black men? Like no, I love
Yeah.
black men because of him. So I'm
Mhm.
saying that I love black men because of my brothers and my friends who I like hold me accountable, who I grew up with, who are not
Right.
like the majority of us. Because like I'm telling you, us a few of us black dudes right here, I'm like we feel like we feel isolated sometimes. Like feel like one, we don't feel like we're a part of the black men because of we might not agree with certain things that how that we've been acting for the last 40, 50 years, and therefore they say that discount us from being a man or being whatever. And to me,
Mhm.
I gotten old enough to the point where just like it goes out one ear out the other. When I know about when I'm managing my priorities and responsibilities as a man, it's like those things just doesn't matter to me. Like if I'm holding myself accountable, being bettering and actually helping others to be better themselves, but not by deflecting responsibility, but by holding yourself accountable everything you do. Because listen, I mean, I'm gonna say they want to try to equate to thinking that me holding me accountable, think I'm gonna take everything that a woman can do. Like if a woman's abusive to me or whatever, I'm just gonna accept it, or whatever. Like
Yeah.
that's what they
No.
think that's going to happen. I'm like, no, I have enough self-respect for myself. Like, hey, I'm not
Right.
tolerating that. But not going to say, well, okay, yeah, you're just like every other black woman. That's why. No, no, no.
Right.
That's not how it is. That's the
Mhm.
difference. There's a way how you handle managing conflict with the other person. So that's the thing that they always kind of get misconstrued. It
Right.
thinking me as a
Mhm.
man because I'm in a relationship, whatever. I'm like, now she doesn't like, you know, uh, no, talk like be cussing me out or anything like that or anything like
Right.
that, like or be disrespectful to me. Like we have a level of respect we have for each other, but
Yeah.
also it stands for me that saying that you want the relationship to lead into marriage. I know that I have to set a mandate, like this is how it's going to go, but not in a way of as a dictatorship, just saying, hey, I have a level of responsibility. Like listen, I'm gonna like I need this from you, you need this from me. Okay, this is how we're gonna uh manage conflict, have difficult conversations. And its biggest
Mhm.
thing is communicating. The best leaders are the ones who are the most effective communicators.
That's
And the
right.
problem is that a lot of us, we think us being the leaders mean we're not going to listen. That's not. You're, that's like you driving a
Mhm.
car, but you take your eyes out. How can you drive a car when you're blind?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's an important thing to mention, that in a relationship there is a respect. Just because you have a penis between your legs, that does not automatically guarantee respect. Like I've been in relationships where dudes, like one of my last relationships, he was literally like, yeah, he believes in
Right.
marriage and everything, and he's like, oh well, but I don't think you're ready for marriage because you're not submissive enough. And it's just like, what, why are we even talking about submission? I think this submission thing is, they're so focused on that, and the control is, it's going to make them die alone, because you're not going to have someone that submits enough for you, apparently. And it's like, but
Right. They have a
why
weird
can't we be
obsession
on?
with
Yep, go ahead. Hmm.
control.
Go ahead, girl, what you saying? They have a weird obsession with
They're
submission.
always saying that black women traditional, but they yeah, they do. They're always saying that black women want traditional men but don't want to be traditional women.
Traditional women.
I don't
Yeah.
believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that traditional woman, and it's not going to work because that's going to overwork the woman
Yep.
if she's only one traditional while you're acting modern. You want half on the bills, plus you want her to come home and do everything, plus submit to you.
Yep.
You overworking your partner.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yep.
just it is
And
what
mm-hmm.
it
Go
is.
ahead.
So that's why I say, if you want a traditional woman,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be a traditional man. Traditional men provide it. If you are providing for that woman and she's not submitting to you, then you can say, okay, well, look, you ain't ready for this, that, and the third. But if
Right,
you ain't
right.
providing shit
Exactly,
and y'all just gonna
exactly.
have, I mean, what you got your roommate? That's how I feel about it.
Mhm.
Yep. Go ahead, Mike. You
And
want
the
to
thing
comment on
about
that?
that is, because I mean, I also read like a bunch of books. It just turns about self improvement. Anything. This is what the things I try to plan out my content moving forward. But these videos like take a long time to do. But I believe more in terms of quality than quantity. Like I want to treat this
Mm-hmm.
concept with care. But the thing about it is that there's a concept in the therapy where it talks about shelving your agenda. What thing is, as when you're being a leader for someone, you're caring for someone in a relationship or even a friendship, when there's someone
Mm-hmm.
needs that need to be taken care of, what happens is you shelve your agenda for the sake of others. And what happens is when
Mm.
they watch and see that you're being dedicated to them, and if they are and they do respect you, what happens is you don't have to shelve your agenda; they'll unshelve it for you. So
Right.
so it happens like with the in terms of the relationship with woman, like you seen that you working hard and everything, then she's gonna do something to you that might even surprise you, whatever. Like, hey, I see you have these needs here. Let me go take care of you. And then it's a symbiotic relationship of of actually having unity and working out, saying, hey, listen, you're putting the effort and that's you put into a relationship. Now, like I said, everyone want to keep getting misconstrued when they talk about a whole thing with submission. Now they always relate this to the Bible, which I take offense to because it's just like you actually know what the Bible when it talks about
Mm-hmm.
submission. So submission also requires also obedience. The Lord demands that me
That's
as a
right.
man that I'm obedient to my wife, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it, and anything uh comes against that, then anything I'm not be edifying to the Lord, but not being edifying to, to my family. Because that's the whole thing of the unit, the whole nuclear family that we all talk about, is that I said
Mm-hmm.
the most because there's another thing they want to bring out saying about society, racism, all this stuff like going on. We just had Juneteenth the other day, and everyone
Right.
can use racism as this thing. My thing is this is like, and I don't want to kind of get political this, but I said the biggest, like I said, the biggest thing that's against racism, against all the supremacy, anything, is a black man who knows what he's capable of and also
Yep.
know what his responsibilities and duties are. I know what mine is, but also I know when things are when I might be doing something prematurely or not. I'm not meant to getting married at this age right now. I'm 22.
Yeah.
I'm like I'm
Right.
about to graduate, about to double major engineering, graphic design, everything.
Wow.
I'm
Great.
not no even though we talk about kings and queens, I'm not a king. And that's not devaluing myself. I know what my time is, but I have to earn to
Right.
build my throne. It's a way that my queen, my offspring, my legacy, and everything. Because my dad, he didn't have no college degree or anything like that. But he's a pastor, but he works in he used to be in the Navy. Now he works in the
Mm.
shipyard as like a pipe fitter supervisor and stuff. He's doing that for like the last about I say 18 years.
Wow.
So what happened is, because we were based in San Diego, then we moved on to the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened is that through this old time, I see him continually working to the point where he comes home and he sits on the couch and he's tired. But he always working to the point where my mom, she didn't have the job because when I was born, I had a lot of medical problems. Now I don't have
Right.
anymore. Glory to God for that. But
Yes.
she took care of me for like during that time when I was younger. But my dad, he provided always consistently to the point when I got to college. Then my mom, she started her own business. She started her own jewelry business.
Mm.
But
Wow.
while but at the same time providing, making sure my dad was sending all the packages to the post office that she had to do and supporting her and everything she did. After all those years of him, even still going to this day, he hasn't retired yet, soon to be, but
Yeah.
like him going to work and everything, like making sure what issues with car, issue with the plumbing, anything like that, making sure that as a child I was never worried that I wasn't going to eat, or I never
Right.
wasn't worried where like where's dad at, or oh, if he wasn't home, my mom said, "Oh, yeah, he's working overnight." I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
got it. And
And she
then,
trusted him that he was going to be where he said he was going to be, do what he said he was going to do. She trusted that he was going to bring the money in and pay for the bills and let her rest in her femininity.
mm-hmm,
That's all I'm saying. Why is it a problem for saying that's how we want men to be?
mm-hmm,
They're so focused on the modern woman. Look, what is the modern woman when the black woman is the most educated demographic in America?
mm-hmm,
There's black women that are in manager positions and all of that, but according to them, they don't want women who are educated. They don't want women that make more than them. They don't want women to work, basically. But you do want her to work because you want her to pay 50-50 of the bills. You want to know what she brings to the table. According to them, they're going around asking women what they bring to the table. And then you also want her to cook, clean, take care of any kids that you guys have together while not being married to her. You don't want to commit to her. You just want her to be your mama, your
My
girlfriend,
dad told
and sorry, go ahead.
my dad told me that it wasn't about what somebody brought to the table. It was the man works and the woman works in the home.
Mhm.
It was never about what somebody brings to the table.
Yeah, no, but
Exactly.
That
they're
is
It's
not
going
true.
what
around
the
they're
man
going around
provides. The woman
saying,
works in the home with the kid.
right? They're going around saying that, but this is the thing. You can't do that with these new dudes because they believe that all they need to bring to the table is
Facts.
the penis and the money. So if you aren't paying something on anything, they automatically think that they get control over you. Like
Right. And that's a
that's
lot of
my
grown women.
experience. And they feel like they're entitled to abuse you,
Right. And
whether
that's
verbally
something
or verbally, emotionally,
that I know.
even physically sometimes.
Hmm. And I can say it more on that. It's an inferiority complex because
Mhm.
Yep.
it's like anything that we always talk about this, codependency or whatever. Like, because I will say this as me and my age, because like I was born '98. I guess I say I'm Generation Z. Is that
Yeah.
one thing that we have been as a society been lied to? Been I think Disney
Mhm.
has a huge part to play on the false relationships on terms of men and women in terms of what the standard is or how relationships is. Relationships
Absolutely.
isn't easy. It's hard. If they actually had
Mhm.
like one of my favorite films, like one of my Disney films is The Incredibles. You see in The
Mhm.
Incredibles, you had the father, he was the big superhero and everything. He was trying to get back, going through midlife crisis and stuff in the first
Mhm.
film. But in the sequel, the mom was the one that was the superhero, and the dad was back at home, and he flipped the whole
Yeah.
narrative. Now people want to claim that was whole social justice warrior stuff, but really it was anything saying that is showing that, well, not only say that times have changed, but saying that it's not emasculine for you to take care of your children if
Yes.
your wife is
Right.
going out working. Now my
Mhm.
thing is this is like I don't think as a man, I'm not saying that the staying home dads or anything that not are not men or all or anything. My thing is just for you as a man, just not providing anything at all. To me, it's like that's something that I can't tolerate. That there will be no woman who will be paying my car note. That's not
Right.
happening.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Then this is the thing. They don't have any shame. Like these type of dudes, and this is why I'm not saying it's all black men. I don't know why
Right.
I
But
have to state those caveats. Like, oh, it's not all black men. If I literally were to say that black men all beg on the street, Jedi Mike, would you be feeling any type of way about that? Would you be feeling triggered? Because that's not you. So I'm
No.
saying hit dogs are gonna holler. If you feel some type of way, you're gonna jump in. Like I
Right.
said, if somebody posts, which they frequently do on social media, like all women do is use Wi-Fi on their phone, go to the club and drink to I don't know, cognac or whatever, I don't know what, Hennessy, and
Crown. Some
yeah,
crown.
whatever
Yeah.
women supposedly do, the modern woman does, and twerk or whatever. And I don't get on the comments saying not all women.
It's
For
a
what?
strong man argument, and I'll tell you why. It's like because it's just saying that as I mentioned when we talk about this
can I say
well,
something?
not all, but most, or
Right.
like that
Yeah.
whole like thing that's kind of going. It's just for me, it's saying I know I learned just for me in just terms I don't get so defensive because of me it's
Mhm.
like my grandmother is old proverb we say out in black families it's like not what they call you who you answer to. If you
Yeah.
immediately
Right.
immediately get on a comment section with someone calling out for black men or this like man this girl's tripping or what like I know you're not talking about me because I'm like
Mhm.
it's just like the same thing with the film I talked about with Color Purple. How they just using that film saying this ruined the image of black men. I'm like, no, it
No.
exposes some things that actually are happening in the community. But
Mhm.
also it shows you what not to be and anything. If you're not that, then congratulations, your work is not done. You need to be consistent,
Yeah.
continue on being who you are. If you're not that image, that's why
Right.
that it's just I don't get so defensive anymore about it. But to me, I say that's even more masculine for me to say that because I'm like, I'm not getting so easily triggered. Like,
Yeah.
even then, I'll say system. I don't get triggered when a white dude called me, a slur and everything. I'm like, okay, I gotta keep it moving. I just like it doesn't phase me or like
Right.
anything like that. I've been raised to the point where because my parents are in their 60s now. My dad was born in 59, so I think that has a part to play in it. In terms of
Hmm.
raising me because it come from a different time. But
Yeah.
one thing they just told me, like, listen, it's like isms, racism, all this stuff. It's never going away. It's never going
Never.
away.
Yeah. So
And I
you're gonna
think
have to navigate through the system.
even with this whole conversation right now, you see with the whole thing about critical race theory, this thing that's kind of been
Hmm.
kind of controversy in the world right now. To me, I'm saying take it or leave it. My thing is this: the first teacher in my terms of my children is me. It's like
Right.
to
Right.
my wife. I don't care. It's like saying why would we can go out and say claim that the school system perpetuate hidden our history, was Black Wall Street, was the women from who worked in NASA, was other things that compliment about African Americans they want to hide from history. But now we're forcing this policy about critical race theory, and everyone gets so defensive. I'm like, listen, I use this analogy. You've been in an abusive relationship for over 27 years or 20 years, 30 years, whatever. And then all of a sudden, for one day, you say, hey, baby, can you stop hitting me now? Why? Instead of saying, you know what, I don't need this anymore. I'm just going to leave. So
Yeah.
my thing
Right.
on the education point, I'm like, why am I asking the people who deliberately are trying to hide my history for the last, 40, 50 years, 60 years, in the American school system, when I can just
Hmm.
simply, you know what, hey kids, I'm just letting you know when they're sent to kindergarten, when they're old enough to elaborate and understand conversation, I'm gonna tell you this,
Hmm.
hey, you go to school, you'll go, you'll be indoctrinated, but when you come to my house, it's time to learn. You learn in my
Right.
house. That's
Yeah.
it.
And that's how it's supposed to be. Sorry. Okay, girl. What were you saying? What were you gonna say?
Well, I was talking about when you were saying that, when some men take care of women, they abuse them. Like an
Hmm.
African man told me, I would say last year in October, he said that men do not respect who they take care of. If they don't
Hmm.
respect the abuse that went on, can see what he was saying. So I think that's why a lot of women started saying they wanted to work because they were being you see that a lot of people do not respect sometimes. I'm not saying it's everybody,
Hmm. Yeah,
but
I
I do
completely
see
agree. And
I
you,
see I see mothers do it to their children. I see they do kind of look at you as, I don't know, maybe they just don't see respect, because like a lot of children nowadays have so much built up anger because they were not allowed to say nothing when they was kids, because a parent would take it as disrespect. They feel like, because you can't do this or that because I take care. And I think a lot of men did that to women as well, and that's why a lot of women wanted to work, because it's like, if I let you take care of me, you're going to continue to abuse me because you know I can't go nowhere. I don't
hmm
have.
Mhm.
and that's why they want women to be
Right. So a lot of
completely
us as
dependent
men, I'm
on
not saying it's
them.
everybody. So
Mhm.
whoever come back and listen to this, people do not respect who they take care of. That I've
Hmm.
noticed that a lot of
And that's true. And I think when I'm looking, especially in this
I noticed a
generation now,
lot of that.
Mhm.
especially in this
Man,
generation now, a lot of these men have this complex, like you said, they have this complex about themselves, but they are very egotistical. So if you do find a man that say the hypothetically you do find a man that's high earning, I wouldn't even say high value because I think have a whole different definition of that, but he's high earning, and he's supposed to be a good man because he pays all the bills and all of that different stuff, but yet he's cheating on you while you at home cooking and cleaning, trying to be the best wife you, or sorry, girlfriend that you can be, since black men don't value marriage. You're trying to be the best girlfriend that you can be. He's paying all the bills. He comes back home and shoot, he's like, I'm going out. He's leaving you. He's cheating on you, he's lying, he's probably abusing you in some type of way. I mean, he may not be putting his hands on you, and I feel like a lot of men just think that they're good men if they just don't put their hands on you. But they can be mentally abusing you, saying, oh well, there's nobody else that wants you, or you're never going to be good enough, or you can't cook, or anything that they say that can be negative. They try to
Mhm.
lower your confidence and different things like that to get you to stay in your place, basically. And this is why they want the so-called traditional. They don't like the modern woman, because the modern
That is
women
true.
have education, we have jobs, we can leave whenever we want. It is, if we don't like something, and I advocate for women to leave the first time you find out he's cheating. Don't bleach your stuff, don't tear his stuff up, just get out.
Mhm.
If he's living with you, kick him out. If you're living with him, just leave. Don't even, and the first time, don't argue with him, don't try to find out why he did it, because it's only going to hurt you. Once a cheater, always a cheater. I'm sorry. If you cannot keep your peen in your pants, you don't need to be with anybody.
Mhm.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, and on that point, it's like even then when they talk about saying with
Facts.
women, yeah, right. When women cheating, like, listen, it's like if you're gonna cheat, you're gonna cheat. It's not like saying, well, you
Right.
made me do this or anything like that. It's never like that. It's just that's someone's nature. But when you talk about the whole thing about dependency, see, I
Mhm.
think it's like I mentioned going things about Disney Channel is that we would mistake independency and as a strong thing, like, oh, I don't need nobody. I'm a man. I
Yeah.
don't need no anything like that. Which I think there's also that's a strong argument. But then you also have this codependency where I'm nothing without you, where you put all your identity
Mm,
in the person. So the middle
right.
ground between that is interdependency, meaning that
Yeah.
not only can I survive without you, not only do I want you, I need you. That's what it has to have to be when you promote that. But the problem is that's not profitable. You look at TBS or any rom coms or anything like that. It's not like or fairy tales. They don't profit off of having a normalized relationship that
Right.
emulates the real world because when they
Hmm.
see that they're like, man, this sucks. I don't understand what happened. I'm not watching this. If you actually remember the movie Zendaya and John David Washington, Denzel Washington's son called
Yeah.
Malcolm Marie, there was one line she said in there, and I don't know if I'm actually going to do a video about this, but she said, I think it's at the moment when you know that someone truly loves you when you stop caring about them, they're not going to leave, and that was like a
Huh.
move because it's like the moment when you know someone's not going to leave, that's when you stop loving them or stop caring about
Yeah,
them.
because the thing is, when you know that you have somebody so called on lock, that they're never going to leave, you think you can do anything you want to them. And this is the problem with black women. Black women have been in this abusive relationship with these black men, and I'm talking about just generally, this we're in an abusive relationship with these men, like who follow Kevin Samuels, who are in the red pill and the manosphere, because there are women that are calling up loving that he's disrespecting and degrading them, and they keep going back because
and
they
and on that point, and listen, everyone say, well, why
hey,
do
the
many women go
deadbeat
into
dad, yeah.
yeah, hey, what's up, Debbie Dad? Nice to meet you, man. I haven't met you in person, but nice
Glad,
to meet you.
yeah,
But
glad to
That's
see
Debbie
you.
Dad.
yeah,
Yes,
That's
we
my
love
homie.
him on
I
this
listen to his
channel.
stuff too. I listen to his stuff
mhm.
too.
We
But that was,
love.
but that's
I
the
hope
thing.
he wants to come up. If he wants
Yeah.
to come up,
But
he
yeah,
can.
it's just a lot of. I think black women have become immune to abuse because that's all they. We don't
Mhm.
look at how these things start out. A lot
Hmm.
of times, and I'm not saying that this is every mother. So again, please don't take this to the extreme. But a lot of
Right.
times, these mothers choose their sons over their daughter. So when
Hmm.
there's no father around, who does the daughter have? So when she grows up and she gets out into the world, she's looking for love because she never felt it. And these men, a community full of men that's waiting to prey on someone. That's exactly what a black girl runs into all the time. She don't feel love, so she's out looking for it. And then you got a whole community trying to prey on them. It is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And when we're not allowed to say anything, and for me, like, no, and I complete that's so deep, the fact that she said that, because if you think about it,
It is.
we when you're with somebody and they know that you're never going to leave, you're never going to no matter what they do, whatever they do to you, they abuse you, they yell at you, they disrespect
Yep.
you, they cheat on you, and they know that you're going to stay, they're going to keep the behavior. But as soon as you leave, then
Right.
they'll
And see,
realize
women
what they
don't
lost.
understand. Women
Mm-hmm.
women don't understand that when a man cheats on you and you stay, the message that you're sending
You
to
already
that
sent
man,
it.
you're saying, hey, you can do that. I'm just gonna act a fool and I'll be right on back with you. That's what you do. That's why I be trying to tell women also, if listen, when he fuck up or when he do wrong, he need to go. You need
Mm-hmm.
to women need to allow these men to miss them. Don't just get right back with them. You know what I'm saying? That's telling him, hey, I ain't going nowhere. I'm just gonna act up for a minute, and then when things die down, I'll be right on back with you. That's what you telling them.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I feel like we don't look at the plight of young black girls a lot. We make
Mhm.
excuses for boys all the time, and I think that is what makes them weaker. When you hold someone's hand and you make excuses for them, it makes them weaker. And this is what we do to black boys.
Yeah.
But with black girls, we push them out and lead them to fend for themselves, and it makes them stronger. So that is how this is why I say black women help create strong women and soft men, because they babied the boys and they
Yep.
were
Yep.
hard on the girls. So now you got a
Yes.
Yeah.
bunch of strong women and men. I tried to, I was trying to say that, but sometimes black women get so mad sometimes, but they did. I will be the first to admit, because if you ask any black girl how she was treated versus her brothers, you'll be
Mhm.
surprised at what you hear. I
Mm-hmm.
promise
Yeah,
you. This is why
I
I stay
agree.
with my friends. I be telling my friends, listen, your son, you quit, you need to get up and do something, honey. You can't got the girls doing all the work while he's sitting
Yep.
there. He need to get up. He need to be taught something. You need to teach him about accountability,
Mm-hmm.
responsibility. Quit making excuses for him. When he wrong, he wrong. Because see, we won't make excuses for girls, but we make every excuse for a man, and that weakens the man. He don't
Mhm.
have to take
Yeah.
accountability for nothing, because his
Mm-hmm.
mammy or mother, excuse me, is gonna come away and feel like she gotta save her son. He needs to, a man needs to be able to fight his own. Because I seen a woman let her son beat up another girl, but when the girl brother came to fight him, she called the police. So I told her, I said, when you do that, he ain't gonna know how to fight outside of beating up a woman. If you gonna let him beat the
Yep.
girls up, and then when it's time for the boy to fight, that's how he get his strength, fighting with another man.
Right.
Yeah.
But
And on that
she
point.
called the police. She said she's weakening it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the point about this is like, and this is not saying that you women, you do a lot, you able to bear life. But one thing I said that our responsibility is that it's men's job to forge boys to be men. And the thing about it is, when you talk about that uh mentality of what's saying of babying the boys, was because they're craving that love, or at least that the love they said they would have got from the man or his father, and they try to put down the boy. So what ends up happening is they end up like almost subconsciously like becoming the place over the man who should have been there in the first place, but he's a child, you know. And then that's the thing, it's like not handling able to understand dressing conflict and everything like that. Even when you saying the situation, the man, like two boys fighting and stuff, I said that there's a lot of situations in the black community which I kind of get disconnected when we talk about, Black Lives Matter and or other stuff like that. There's a lot of situations in terms of black men that when we actually have positive, edifying leadership, that we're able to diffuse a lot of situations that lead to this to all the conflicts that we've seen going in the world today. So one is saying that, well, I don't have to call the cops because the man's here. He can handle
Mhm.
this. That's it. But it's not saying and when you talk about the whole thing about the cheating or failing, listen, we're and some people can get misconstrued when you say that because we're not saying that as in a relationship that you're not allowed to fail or you're not allowed not to be
Yeah.
perfect or anything because no one is perfect. But the problem is
Right.
there's a line crossed, and they always think when they're saying, "Well, what about women do this?" I say like whenever I'm holding a man accountable, saying that I'll allow this. I like I mentioned, if I when I earn my credit of terms, building my character and everything like else, but also um my self respect, I know like I'm not gonna have tolerate anything that are pattern behavior when you're being disrespectful if I did my part to play. Now, when they talked when the message that's going on saying that men don't cheat, we exercise options, that is an absolute was complete BS because what it is the developing level of hypocrisy. Because saying that, well, I come home to you, so therefore that means that I'm not cheating. That's absolute crap. And saying that marriage because of traditional times, saying that oh well, polygamous is what's better for for the community, not just having a unified family. I'm just like
Right.
who the hell are you actually talking about this like
Right.
family to? Because of all the things, that's one of the biggest things that you've seen with the Kevin Samuels was this topic point, which I'm like, okay, this is getting out
Right.
of line. Like, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're talking about accountability and everything like that. It just like, oh, I remember I deconstructed the red pill and everything. Like, you talking about this concept of red pill that saying it's support order to seek truth, and going to the movie, the film, The Matrix. What I said was like, well, remember if you continue that scene with Lily by like 2 minutes, he went to a different room
Mm-hmm.
before the red pill process started. Was that he had to look himself in the mirror and he had to touch himself, metaphorically saying that he had to see himself and knowing that it can be consumed by his old self so he could be renewed. And I saying, okay, this is my flaws, my character. This is what I need to do to be better. And that's when the full process of being, seeking truth is supposed to be. So they want to always deflect responsibility, but that's not what masculinity is. So when it
Right.
talk about prioritizing the daughters about this, because even then, like the whole thing with brothers and sisters in terms of the relationship between black men and black women, like the daughters, like, and you wondering why black women have this excuse saying that, oh, why do black women they don't smile? You're looking at the
Yeah.
situation that happened where telling like, oh, when they're going through abuse or going through stuff like that, it's like and not told and not being watched. Even when we have like this no snitch mentality in the black community that we can't tell
Mm-hmm.
like in our family, hey, listen, you did this to her, when she was 4 years old, and yet you're still able to come to the family reunion. No,
Right.
that's not happening. So it's
Yeah.
like when you tolerate that abuse, it's like you think this like I said, dysfunction become your function. You think this is what your reality and this is what normal is to you.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that we have just from listening to Divested Zealot last night and how it was just woman after woman that was having stories of incest and rape and molestation inside their family or even sexual um like just sexual harassment in their family. And it's just the fact that they're saying like, oh, that's still your
Yeah, black
uncle,
girls
that's
don't
still
have.
whatever. Like, no, where's the protection? No one protects a black woman. But and there's literally, and this has just always happened
Yep.
where you tell someone like, I hope one of my cousins, she doesn't watch this. So I know one of my cousins, she actually told me her uncle was molesting her for so many years. And I think that her grandmother didn't believe her because that's her son. So she's like, no, he wouldn't do that. And I guess he went to jail for like murder or something serious that he's in there for life. And she said she was still she had so much like basically Stockholm syndrome. She would like put money on his books and stuff like that, and like put money on the phone for him to call her. And one day he was just like trying to basically have phone sex with her. And she's like, do you know who this is? He said, yeah, I do. And she's like, this your niece? And he said, I know who it is. What are you wearing? And she hung up the phone. She said she stopped talking to him. She doesn't put money on his books because she said it's disgusting. You continue to have this degenerate behavior, and no one in her family has protected her. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, she's kind of scarred, but she's a pretty good woman. Above all, but these are the stories that we're hearing, like, and we're supposed to just ignore it. this stuff doesn't, and then all they have to say is, what
Yep.
about what happened to the white community?
And
What
it
happened if
happens
this
so
happened in other community? But why do we need to bring the other community? Why should we be following other communities? Why can't we set a standard to have a healthy community for ourselves?
Well, because the issue with that is like when I hear the topic always called about divesting, they're saying, and me as a black man hearing this is like they would be like, wait, man, dude, why are you saying or in part of a conversation where now women are telling you not to date guys who look like you? I'm like, listen,
Yeah.
I can really say care less about it because I'm like, it's like we're saying we're not part of saying interracial relationships are wrong or anything. Now, I'm not going to be also lie to. There are some folks who have agendas with it from both sides, and I'm not going to go into that. That's a whole nother can of worms. But to ones who actually just saying prioritizing, loving somebody, anything like, listen, you think you deserve better, you go get better, regardless of
Right.
what that means for you. And I'm not gonna just say because you need to honor the community. Why you need to stay with us, whatever. But then we're not doing our part in terms of keeping you here.
Yeah. Right. And
It's just
I want to show you guys something I just seen on Twitter. This is the things that we're seeing on.
well. I want to.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, also I want for girls is that girls aren't taught nothing. Like
Mm-hmm.
nobody
Right.
teaches these girls how to pick a mate. They're
no.
always saying black men choose, and no one teaches them how to pick a mate. But they
Mm-hmm.
praise boys for using women up and disposal in them. So when you
Right.
don't teach one side how to do something, but you teach the other one to use to use the women up, that's what you're gonna get. I mean, that's you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have a bunch of broke men, but they use the woman up and dispose of her.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
But we women they
Can
do
you?
that. You
Right.
know, we
Yeah. And
tell the
their
women that
holes
they
when
need
they
to
do
get a
that.
husband, they need to find a man and settle
Mm-hmm.
down. But we pray. I feel like very one's boys or women versus men. And then on top of that, men are now pushing this, oh, well, if the man got money, he shouldn't have to be faithful. Well, what's in the
Mm-hmm.
relationship for the woman if the
Right.
with him just buying shit? That's
Right.
it. She don't get
Mm-hmm.
a real relationship. He going being with who he want to be with, and she should just be okay because he paying a bill. That actually wants a real relationship with you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. No, and I say that because like in
And
the
she
video
give
I
a fuck
made
about what you
talking.
bought her. What
Right. Exactly.
then what happened? It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like because like in the video that I made about leadership,
What is that?
what
Just go ahead. I'll read it after. Let me stop sharing until you guys stop speaking. Then I'll show you. But go ahead, Jedi.
But I was saying the video that I was talking about, I made about leadership is like it's the same thing I equate it to as money, as just anything. Leadership doesn't change who you are, just as money doesn't change, it exposes you. So,
Right.
and the point about this is like when you talk about having actual qualities in terms that forges you as a man, see all this money and high value messes nothing without character. And we've seen history today. Obviously, people in
Mm-hmm.
power who know you have all the money, but yet the character is no had nothing to stand on, and yet that's the
Right.
whole point that we're pushing. Because listen, I think to me, when talking about as men need to struggle, because listen, like I do believe there is a uh point in conversation what it mean about as men, we're not able to be vulnerable. Like talking about men can't cry or men can't, show any emotions, stuff like that. But that stuff does forge monsters. When you
Yep.
saying that you can't cry as a man or anything, like you can't show any emotion, or you can't even go to someone and ask for help. Just asking for some help and make you weak. That's what forges monsters, because basically you explode. But and the point about this is that you're not talking about what this relationship will actually have edifying things about what forges a marriage, because we're not talking about like
Right.
just you having a boyfriend girlfriend. I'm talking about marriage, and it's able to just accept that we can accept being complacent as a standard and not edifying each other. because like I'm tired of this. I mean this whole gender war and everything like stuff. I'm tired
Yeah.
of it. I mean,
Right.
and me like, and I try to detach from it because I just at this point it's just like I don't care. Like I mean, like in terms of the nonsense I've been seeing online and everything, because it's the same point where I talk about the social economic issues that go on with me as a man and what it stands are. Like I understand statistics about me where I stand on the in the totem pole, but I was raised just like having the mentality of like I don't care. It's like if I'm running, I use like when you're running track, I can care less what this this person on the other lane doing, what this other person lane doing.
Right.
They
Right.
focus on what I'm doing and running straight and never stopping. But if I'm just doing this, there's a reason why, or like looking back around to see what's
Hmm.
like trying to come up to me. There's a reason why your rear view mirror is smaller than your windshield because your
Hmm.
windshield's bigger in front of you. You know all this stuff.
Right.
You're not supposed to be driving a car in back and reverse. You're gonna be in
Right.
an accident real quick. So that's the
Yeah.
whole thing. You know.
I agree. Let me show you guys this. Let's see. So this is what I seen on Twitter. This is what these people are learning from Kevin Samuels. So this woman posted, Kevin Samuels made a platform of teaching men to belittle and disrespect women, only for him to teach y'all you're too broke for any of his teachings to work. Use all y'all like shit. I know that's embarrassing. OMG. So this woman posted, he has men messaging shit like this. I did not ask for none of this. So it says, I am 6'2, 6'3, black, college educated, master's degree, avid world traveler. I receive monetary compensation for the rest of my life from the U.S. government from my time serving in the U.S. Marine Corps. I have an amazing job with killer benefits, and my yearly salary is about 146,000. I work for a billionaire tech founder. This criteria alone put me in the category of less than 2% of men in the U.S. and what most women value the most: salary, a man's height, level of education, etc. This does not even include the me owning my own business and much more. I am in another league. I have my shit together all the way around, including excellent personal credit and excellent business corporate credit, healthy in shape, no known hereditary issues or illnesses, speak 3 languages and more. I hate to flex. I hate to do this, but with all that, you don't think a man like me have options. Let me put this another way. I don't think most women want men like me. Let's see. And I think he actually tweeted something more too. Let's see. I don't know, nor do I care what you have. The beauty of this world is there is variety. When I share that, I spoke in a general sense. Of course, you'll try to deflect and pivot. Most women won't. Some women know what they want, which is why you see them with families and homes. They know how to prioritize and get to the point. What do you guys think about that?
And he's saying he's not flexing by flexing.
But okay, but this is the thing. This is the problem with the whole high value argument, because you're not saying, are you going to respect me? You already said that you were a cheater. So, I mean, because you're going to exercise the option, so that automatically means I don't want you. But you're not telling me you're going to respect me. You're not going to appreciate me. You're not going to love me. You're not going to care for me. You're not going, there's other things. You're not going to be an honest man. Like, there's other characteristics other than money that women are looking for. This is the reason why they think,
I think
well,
some of these men, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
I think some of these men mad because they can't find no woman that's gonna let them mistreat them.
Mm-hmm. That's all
That's
they
what it
want.
boils down. That's what it seems like it boils down to. Why the fuck? Why is it that? Here's what I want to know: why these dudes want to be shared like they some type of households or something? Like, what is it? Does that give you some type of power that you up here mistreating the person you with?
And you
I
know
really
what?
feel
Mhm.
like these men are looking for someone to mistreat and
Because I think it's a point of perspective. If
I
you
don't see it no other way. Like,
did she mute it? I didn't want to cut her off.
She's not muted. Oh, now she is.
Okay, but yeah, I
Go ahead.
that's one thing is yeah, because I that whole talk about the spirit like of a pride that comes with it is just like I feel I don't know if you ever saw the show on Amazon Prime called Invincible, but there's a character called Omni Man. He's basically an alien dude from a different planet, but he's meant to basically destroy the entire planet. But he was raising his son basically to when he got his powers to basically take over with him. But he'd been posing as a superhero for like over 18 years since his kid been born, basically having this false facade that that he loves his wife and loves humanity and everything. But then when he
Right.
reveals himself, as being this murdering maniac, he said, "Listen, I do care about your mother, but she's just a pet to me." And that's the thing about like you think about raising like dogs, and you might care about your dog, but the dog you don't if a dog's barking at you, you don't really care about it. You still think of it as you might give him some some water, give him some like a dog food or anything like that, but still you still view yourself above him or above the animal as a pet, as a subordinate, you know. So I think it's just like I think that the concept of why they're trying to say, well, I'm this, therefore I can, I have I'm the high value, I'm the top 10%, therefore I am, I'm able to go outside the ring to make that validates me, but yet, you have to be, submission to me. It just is absolutely hypocritical.
Yeah, it is. But this is the thing. These men are starting to go around and listening to Kevin Samuels. They think that they're the prize now, which honestly, I don't understand why they're bragging about that. But okay. So why and now a lot of these men are starting to they have been doing this for years, like trying to scare women into saying like, oh well, this is why you're gonna die alone, this is why you're not married, this is why you're single. Like newsflash, a lot of women would rather die alone than deal with the stuff that we have to deal with you men. Like um just the I mean, even when I was dating and I was online and I started to do a little okay, all right, no problem. Thank you for coming on a conversation with black women. Let me know when you want to get back on again, and we really appreciate you coming.
Yeah, but nice meeting you, ma'am. Thank you.
Mhm.
Oh, I'll be on the podcast. I this was a good conversation, y'all. We need to keep this going.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
great.
we do.
I'll see
Yeah.
y'all later.
Yeah. I'll see
Pleasure
you
meeting
on
you.
the shoot too. Yeah, yeah. All right.
Mhm.
But a lot of these men are from my own experiment. I'm seeing that these men don't want competition. Number one, if they find out that you're talking to, say you're just talking to one other dude, for example, they start getting all insecure and everything because it doesn't have anything to do with money. Like this is what we're getting. We're mixing up the facts. Like you can be a high earner, but you can still be a dusty. Look at
Mhm.
Carmelo Anthony. He's supposed to be such a high earner. He's supposed to be the better choice that women are supposed to choose. And he seems like a quiet dude. He seems like he's a good dude, like whatever, but come to find out, he's a cheater. He keeps cheating on her. He won't stop cheating on her. He has no self-control. And I feel like if a man has no self-control, there's no point in even dealing with that man. And I think women need to really wake up that a lot of black men have problems with self-control.
Mhm.
They just to see different I've just seen so many disturbing things, but a lot of these men are completely like horn dogs. And I think this is a problem that needs to definitely be addressed
Mhm.
in this world right now, is that a lot of these men who are just so, oh, I have to have sex every day all day, basically, like those type of dudes, they will have sex with anything and everything. I'm literally seeing them have sex with animals, fat women, cracked out women, men. And I just think that it's funny that a lot of these men were saying like they were mad at Oprah for having like a black men show, like a segment about that. But I think that that was important to say because that is the case. Even in 2021, for there to be DL men, I think that that's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like because yeah, because we've seen that. I guess in the, I mean, my age. I mean, because you're only what 4 years older than me. You're 26, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, like we're kind of like I won't say in the same dating pool, but like almost by a
Mhm.
few differences. But my thing
Yeah,
is, yeah, like I think that today we don't really. I don't say we're not doing further research, but I say as a man in general, like, I mean, sex or sexual temptations and control, like it's a very
mhm.
impulsive thing. However, it just when it's talked about, it's a learn, and I say it's a behavior. When I say if it's not being checked, not being tamed or anything by other people around you, not just by your one, but also by other men too. Like, hey, dude, what the hell are you doing? You know, then it's like you be able to forge because uh the self control I've seen is talk about having the self discipline.
Yeah,
Obviously we can talk about people with the either like with the whole porn or masturbation or anything like that, how that's just like rising and everything, or with escorts and stuff like that, how that's just a rise. But the thing is having enough self discipline. Like, hey, this is not this like carnal having this carnal mindset is not going to control me. That and I just feel like that this is a one of the things that I'm trying to work on, seeing how forging a video to talk to young folks, because younger
yeah,
folks, I mean, they don't like it's just like like kids, like you don't like really know how to control a lot of things, and you just or might be experiencing things for the first time and don't know what to do. So I think it's like I'm trying to find the best way to treat this topic with care. Like one of the topics about having self control. To and as I'm like teaching it, how I also increase areas in my life where I'm self-controlled. I know there's some things, even I'm not saying I'm horrible, but like there might be some things that are lacking in certain areas where I like need to improve in terms of having more self-control, and might be either with spending or might
right,
be and other things like that. uh that I just feel that that's a good train. But listen, women like know that when I talk with my girl, like she noticed certain things that I don't know, that like that she said that was attractive, was the fact that like how I wasn't really impulsive in terms of engaging conflict.
right.
It wasn't the fact that I couldn't fight. It's just the fact that I wasn't able to tame a situation down. Like, hey, dude, like, okay, I understand you're upset right now, but like, you're gonna try to start something, ain't gonna happen. And just like now, if something did happen, you'd be ready. But
Right,
it
right.
just but the thing is, I to me, I don't ever saw, because some girl, like I don't want to say some girls out there, but I don't understand what is this nature of a lot of people liking men to get in fights. Like liking to get in fights and stuff like that, and always having like, oh man, he just started up a fight. Cool, cool, cool. I'm just like, that means he could be easily triggered. You want somebody who you're
Yeah.
supposed to be your leader be like impulsive, to do that, like I
I
don't know.
think I think that's a great point that you brought up because there was a conversation on Twitter and they were saying like basically why should men protect women that they don't know, because what if they get killed or something, or what if they get hurt? And I think that I don't know how you feel about it as a man, but I just think that that's a very interesting conversation because why does it have to go to violence? Like, I don't enjoy violence. So what I'm saying is, can men de-escalate a situation if they're seeing women, for example, getting beat up by a man, for example? You're telling me that these men can't go up to this other man and de-escalate the situation without violence? Like, you can't talk to him like, hey man, we don't do that, like let's not do that. And there that is going to automatically go to, oh well, I'm going to fight you and I'm going to kill you.
Hmm.
uh, and so they're using that as an excuse, like, see, this is why we can't protect women that we don't know, because what if they kill us, then what?
Well, I say that like what the way I was raised by my father. Because listen, my dad, I said no, he grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, right in that
Mm.
neighborhood. And so there's a lot of things. He grew up on a street called Hell Street, Helle.
Wow.
And to this day, uh that was to this day it's the most protected block in like around that neighborhood, because the kids, they defended that street. But one thing, he at home, like, there might be some moments like when I was younger that he had moments of anger, right? But now
Yeah.
he doesn't get angry easily, because also that'd be affecting his health too, which no one really want to talk about when you get older in age, that like, when you being angry and everything like that, that's really damaging to your health.
Yeah.
But to my father, when he was saying that he just learned how to let things go, but he also told me like how to just be an effective communicator. But I really got that from my mother. It's just like
Yeah.
I just because my mom is never like the whole stereotype of black women. Mom, like you talk about, my mother's not like, she's not a loud person. She's not, or the negative stereotype of
Right.
alternative black women is like, oh yeah, they can't be professional or anything, and be polite or anything. Like, no, she's like, literally, my mom would give candy when I was in a bus stop with, when I was younger. She would give candy out to the other kids who weren't their own, right before
Hmm.
we up get on the bus stop and stuff. She always knew the candy lady, when I was younger. But she always told me that it was situations where we got in fights, or other kids in the bus stops when I was younger. It's like, 'cause
Hmm.
she always had, her pay attention to me, even like when she sent me off to school. She would step in and just like talk to the kids and calming the boys down. She's like, hey,
Yeah.
breathe, learn how to breathe, or say, hey, what's going on, and set the situation. And I talked to her when I got older, like, listen, like, how do you do that? Because she just like every time when she came in, it diffused the situation. But I think that's also just a woman's strength too, just like the presence
Yeah.
of the taming that. But as a man, I'm just like, well, I want to be a diplomat too, because like I don't want like
Hmm.
I feel like that's the one thing we lacking, is that we're not being the peacekeepers.
Yeah.
We're the
Right.
no, we're the ones being the no the dogs, or like the ones that out loose and raging bulls. Not being the pathway of direction and peace. But
Yeah.
we either think that that's a masculine thing, or you a beta if you don't want to start fight, or
You're right.
anything,
Yeah.
or because I'm talking to like in a conversation having conflict, the fact I don't rush to cussing somebody out. I mean, I can cuss you out, but I'm just saying that I don't rush to do that, because I learned how to just talking another way, be professional or anything like that.
Right.
They
Right.
think, oh yeah, you're not, you're soft, yeah,
Yeah.
you're beta, whatever it might be, you're weak. The fact that I'm handling situations properly, and not, 'cause I never got in a school, like never got in a fight in school or anything like that. Never,
Same.
ever,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
But even then, I got picked on for it, saying, oh yeah, no, he's like, the nice guy, or he's the thing. But I'm like, listen, my dad, his greatest fear is like, listen, I never want to pull my son out of the jailhouse. I never want to pull him out of the drug house, and he never had to, because
Yeah.
it's just like
Right.
he taught me how to assess conflict, and also to be also have my antennas open, knowing when situation's about to go south, and know when it's your time to get the heck out of here and run, or walk away, and so way you won't be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. And I completely agree. I've never been in a fight, and I hear you about women trying to egg on fights, and they live for the drama, and I want to say that that's a black thing. Like, for some reason we love to see fights and drama, and I just never understood that. Like, I've never been in a fight, and for some reason all my life people have been telling me that they're scared of me, or they were scared to talk to me, men or women. I'm not LBGT or anything, but I'm saying, like, as a friend, even, like, people were afraid to be my friend or anything because they were scared just from my presence. But it's like, no, I've never been in a fight. I've never had to, square up with anyone. I just, if there was any problem, I de-escalated it by talking or letting them know, hey, this is not what's gonna happen. But
right,
why does it have to go to violence every time? Like, I don't understand that. And for me, as a woman, it's very disheartening to see so many men saying, well, we aren't going to protect you if we see, say, another black man beating you up or something. Like, there was a video where this black woman was getting beat up. I mean, he was punching. I didn't see the real video, but he must have been punching her and everything, because she had knots all on her face. Her nose was bleeding. Her mouth was bleeding. Her whole face was just completely deformed. And it's just like there were men standing around recording it, but nobody stepped in to help her. Or, I mean, I'm not saying he had to come in and just start beating the guy up or something, but he could have been like, hey, we don't put our hands on women. women. You know, let's not do that. There's
Right.
there's no like they're not even trying to confront the person. Where is it? They're doing these stories like, well, it's because I know somebody who jumped in and he got killed, or I know somebody who did this. Like, yeah, that
Yeah, I
could
mean,
happen.
like, no, but listen, situations do go south like that. I'm not gonna lie, they don't. But
Yeah.
I even can go into different conversation or topic about how, like, how as men we address even domestic violence when it's coming from the other end. You know, we all
Hmm.
but the thing about it's like, well, she hit me, then I can hit you. It's like
Hmm.
there's another thing about assessing situations. Like, I understand, like, men were physically, you know, like stronger, able to, like, we can hit you with one hit, then you be out or something like
Yeah.
that. But my thing is, I don't tolerate fit. Like, you don't be, even when you're like hitting on me or joking, I'm like, hey, don't do that. It just, I don't put my hands on nobody. It just, but my thing is, they just try to see, well, if they can do it, then I can do it. You
Yeah.
know, that's the thing. Where it was like, well, like, if I get hit by her and I call police, people be like, dude, what the heck is what's wrong? You're weak, whatever. If I hit her for her hitting me back, they're like, dude, that's a female. That's a female. That's what they always, kind of get defensive when they ever had that
Yeah.
situation. But my thing is like, even then, there's certain things. Obviously, talking about the double standard that what I was talking about, in the like in terms of relationship or just in this community, that there's things that that apply to the women that don't apply to us. Like,
Right.
we have the luxury of doing things. Just as men, we might have the luxury of doing things that they're not able to do. We just have to
Hmm.
accept that. So, like, even a girl hitting on you, like, as a man, I advise you just grab her. I don't care what you have to do, but just making sure to do anything to tame the situation, just like of not like trying to protect yourself, and just like make sure and try to calm her down or anything like that. But
Hmm.
but don't, like, when the moment you try to do for the blow, it's fair game after that for what's coming next. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, I do not condone women putting their hands on men at all. Don't do it because you don't know how these men were gonna react. They
Mhm.
might they might put their hands back on you or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, I can say that the fact that black women are not protected by black men, I mean, it's just crazy to even hear like, well, I didn't know her, so I'm not gonna protect her. Like, so, but you expect us to protest for George Floyd, who clearly was not, he was a degenerate of society. Jacob Blake, like, I don't know all of these people's names per se. It's just been so many, but we didn't know them, and there were still black women on the front lines protesting for them and trying to, get justice for them because we understand that that's injustice. But
Mhm.
and this is why I said, I shared that. I said, you know what? Black women, we're not going to be protected. So we should be getting guns. We should be having guns, mace, our keys, everything. Everything. You have everything that you need and just stay ready. Because at any
Yep.
point, you don't know who's crazy and who's not. I mean, and there can be black men standing around and you cannot rely on them to just like, oh, yeah, I see this black woman getting um assaulted by this black man, for example, from what we see. Or even I've seen the video where the black woman was being attacked by that white man in that McDonald's. Black men were standing around
Just standing
again
right there. Yeah,
and everyone's laughing and stuff, and I don't see what's funny. But yeah, okay, if she would have had that base on her, I bet he wouldn't have did that. Then makes that everybody up in that piece.
right.
That's
Because
what
listen,
I would have did.
now, I'm glad you said it, because listen, I don't really identify, like, I'm a non-bipartisan person,
Mhm.
when it comes to like politics and everything. I'm full advocate of, like, black people. Like Dave Chappelle even said it, every black
Yep,
person should
every black
register
person,
for a legal firearm. Because
if
the
you
thing why I say
can.
that is that, as men, like, if I talk about the no stitch mentality, we all know who the drug dealer is on the street. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna act like you don't know. Well, I don't know. You know who he is. So I'm saying
Hmm.
that you talk about drugs and all this effect in our community and gang violence. And listen, you know, you handle be talk about as a man stepping up, being the diplomat, and you go up to the dude, say, listen, bro, I'm not gonna call cops on you because I know how stuff is. But like, listen, I'm gonna give you one. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. You take your stuff and get off my block and you go off the street. But if you do, if you come
Yeah.
back here again, then I'll treat you accordingly. I get, and then I'm saying, and then that's how it is. Now, some people saying, well, why the bringing violence is, into the answer to violence is violence. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm
Right.
saying is that I believe if Black Lives Matter, that means also Black security matters. You know,
Mm,
that means that
yes.
we are going to protect our security. I'm not going to ask, like, I'm not going to call the cops for a situation to happen because obviously you can't bet there will be a black officer. Sometime it is, but sometime it isn't. But what I'm saying is that no, I'll handle the situation and we'll treat it accordingly. If the men were talking about being leaders, then we also are the leaders of taming situations. Black and
Yeah.
saying Black Lives Matter, Black security matters. And it's like that's what and so all that stuff that I believe more for the message than actual like the organization that I might
Yeah.
disagree on certain
Same.
things because on my Instagram I have it I say BLM there but I take it literal and some people might misconstrue thinking that I'm for everything. No, I take it literal saying Black Lives Matter, Black relationship matter, also
Hmm.
Black accountability matters, and Black security, Black financing, Black all
Yeah.
this stuff. Talking about complaining about oh are we getting falsely arrested, all these officers that getting or people that got causing these crimes, getting shot, and the next day to get bailed out. But yet we can't bail a single dude out in our community. When situations come when they get falsely arrested, and we can't afford to pay their bail. So I
Yeah.
don't care what Black Lives Matter doing their donations. As me as a man, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure my resources to people in my community, if something happened, I can even have the finances to bail them out or whatever it might be, and situations go south or whatever. And I'm not
Right.
gonna rely on the movement to tell me what I need to do, prioritize in my community. You
Yeah.
know?
And this is the thing about we it, just like that white lawyer, maybe Bruce Rivers, whatever his name was, just like he said, we need strong black leaders. And this is why on the honest truth, I was so I was just so emotional because when she was saying that her son is literally watching these animals who Kevin Samuels is 51. He's older than both of us combined.
Nine.
Like he's in a suit, which because we grew up in, you're in a church, you grew up in a church. When they're in, we look up to these men that are on a pulpit and they have this nice fancy suits on. They're speaking so articulately and so forcefully, and a lot of black people have grown up in that environment. So who can we trust? So
Mhm.
we're looking at the Kevin Samuels, a 51-year-old man. Again, to reiterate, he's older than both of us combined.
Yeah,
So we're looking up to him as a leader in our community,
right.
supposedly. And so what does a leader do? He's supposed to lead us in the direction, but he's leading us to hate. And the fact that black men and black women are saying like this is a good thing or this is entertaining is not. When that lady was saying literally her son who hasn't even got to experience life, he hasn't even, he's still on his mom's breast. He doesn't even know right, he barely knows right from wrong at this point. Like he's scared of child support, he's scared of baby mamas,
Did you,
he's
I
scared
don't
of
know
all
if you
that.
I don't know if you saw that live. I want me on truth. It was like like I didn't launch my channel yet, but it was like
Mhm,
when it was like an 18 it was a 20-year-old kid
mhm.
talking about like wow, what will a woman add to my success and everything when I'm in computer science and stuff. Like he's in the same major and the degrees I'm in,
Yeah.
right?
Right,
I'm
right.
like and I told him like, dude, women are the least of your priorities. This is an
Mhm.
issue that the manosphere created, that women are the that for as you as terms of as a man like prematurely, like you're watching you like some of these folks are what maybe young, like maybe 14, 15, 17,
Yeah.
in this age who have not even experienced life yet they have a
Yeah.
stance on this issue. And I'm saying that you talking about purpose, like I say, like my thing is a man who lacks purpose, who lacks ambition, is the lost man. But thing is
Mhm.
a one thing that take anything man is a distracted man. And one thing, distractions, no offense, is women at a young
Yeah,
age.
it
You
is.
know,
It
you
definitely
know.
is. And I think we need to be teaching young men to value their sperm and their penis. We need to be letting them know that they need to be valuing their education because, like you said, the older men that are just Kevin Samuels boyfriends or whatever the case they may be, look, they're a lost cause. They have already made in their mind that they're just bitter and hurt, and that's fine. We don't care about them. I'm worried about the children just to see, like, and I have a brother that's 17, so I can only imagine he doesn't know anything about this, luckily. But say if he
Thank God.
does find that and he's just looking through it and he's like, Now you got this random hatred from women, and you barely date. You haven't even dated anybody. You haven't experienced anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we should be teaching, and it has to come from the black men. We need more black strong
Mm-hmm.
male leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that wrong to say? Why do I hate black men if I have to say that? Like, I have my dad in my life. I have a man in my kid's life. So it's like, my grandfather was there, uncle. So I'm familiar with strong black male leadership. And that's what I feel, if everyone had, what can go wrong at that point? And
Yeah.
we talk down about the single mothers and all of this different things, but nobody asks where the father is.
Mm-hmm.
He And most likely he's not active in a person's life. Like, I was listening to a live, and this woman was saying how her dad was a surgeon or whatever, and he left her mom, like, just left her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, but I thought we were supposed to choose better. So what does that look? But what does that look like?
Well, I mean, on that point is saying that, I know I reference like a lot of movies and stuff, like, the whole great power come great responsibility. But the
Yeah.
thing about that is that when we talk about bearing our seed, all this stuff I'm hearing about, I always say, yeah, it takes two to tango, obviously, to creating a child. But my point is that think about, I'm using this analogy here. It's like, let's say I'm a farmer, right? I have a whole vast of land filled with different crops. I got tomatoes, I got potatoes, and then everything, I got corn, other stuff, wheat stuff I've grown, right? But all that stuff you have to put seeds into it for it to grow. Now let's say that I have a manufacturer who I tell them put the seed in a particular area, right? So I have, let's say I need some corn. I need some like tomatoes today, right? I need some like tomatoes in this field, and then all of a sudden, okay, all right, the planter puts the seed in there, right? And then all
Right.
of a sudden you find out when they 6 months or time of growing later that it wasn't tomatoes. It was actually oranges. It was fruit and different other thing. It wasn't what you asked for. I'm like, wait a minute. So are you gonna get mad at the product that it grew from, or actually the person who put the seed and put the wrong seed
Right.
into it? That's it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, if are you like blaming that, saying, well, listen, you put the wrong seed in the wrong place. I didn't ask for put fruits here. I asked for tomatoes here. But yet, am I gonna
Right.
get mad at the fact that just tomatoes are just there? I put the seeds. The seed was put in there, so I can't change that.
Right.
The
Right.
same thing analogy. Why am I, as a man, saying I'm complaining about women saying close your legs? I like, dude. I hold all the seeds.
Right.
I hold all the
Don't. Yeah.
I
We
hold
have
all the
to. We
seeds.
have to hold men accountable to wear the condom. We have to make sure the condom doesn't break. We have to make sure that he's not ejaculating in us. Like, we have to have all of this responsibility, and men have to have none. And I think that is a big problem that needs to be addressed. Like, men should not be doing that. If How
And listen,
can but then it's like this, it takes two to tango. If the woman is being a single mother, she's taking accountability. That's taking accountability. So where's the man's accountability at? There's none at all. Like, the men
right.
can never, yeah,
Well,
go
yeah,
ahead.
right. If you come to the topic about child support and everything, like, listen, we don't, as black, I don't even say as black men, just as black people, we don't
Mhm.
do a better job at doing a vetting process in relationships.
That's true.
We do everything reverse. We have children before we have marriages, and then, and the thing is, we already setting up our children to fail, talking about having a broken family, because, like, well, well, I mean, not just because of how I was raised. To me, at that point, I understand, like, you are what you brought up in and everything, but listen, you're a product of your environment, you're a product of your upbringing. But I believe the more weight into it, that you're also a product of your choices. It's a choice.
Right.
The
Yep.
fact that you choose to have children before you get married. It's a
Right.
choice that that you didn't take the necessary time in vetting the person, the man or woman that you did not want to have a relationship with. Say, hey, listen, because as me as a man, I have this. I understand. I'm not going to talk about whether, I understand I'm religious, but like, people saying that sex before marriage, you do what you want to do. But even then, if you choose to have condom or anything like that, all is not even effective. I always say, if I'm gonna have sex with this woman, if she gets pregnant, well, I'll be okay. Not only the fact that have to taking care of this child, but also will I be okay the fact that this will be the mother of my child.
Right.
If I hesitant answering that, then I shouldn't be with her in the first place. That's just how it is. I understand stuff like situations where you might have flings and everything like that, but we just gotta get to back into priorities and duties and responsibility. Like, listen, I just can't be willy nilly with something that that might lead to something, a child growing 18 years. We have to
Right.
prioritize that.
Yep.
That's it. Just taking proper care and patience. But some of the simplest things are the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, and I feel like definitely we have to be careful, especially with the new generation. We need to be teaching young men and young women that it's not so much because the thing is our world has changed. I was just watching this documentary and it was about basically a white America. That was what they were talking about, and or the white world basically, like in
Uh-huh.
America and in Norway and different places like that, where they're having a similar problem where so many there's like single mothers, but it's just because men are, you're not forced to get married before having sex anymore. Like no one
Right.
expects that, and there's a lot of more casual sex accidents or whatever of everything happens,
Right.
um but we do need to teach young men and young women, like, look, be more because like she said, we need to be teaching them what exactly to look for in your partner, male or female, and it is more to do with their character. Like you said, we need to be telling them if this person is not an honest person, a respectable person to you, and a loving, caring person, amongst other characteristics, there's no reason to deal with them. And again, it doesn't matter. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter what race. Like, of course, do I want black men and black women to only date black men and black women in a perfect world? But we've already known that black men have. I think you've even said you've dated like white women and different things like that, and black
I
men
did
have
it, and I had one. It was just
right,
one. Right.
right, okay, right. So let me specify that.
That's it. Right. Because listen, I'm in Northern Virginia area. Like, listen, it's like black women. Where are they? It's rare. I have found
Right,
like
right.
it's. I mean, but yeah.
Yeah, and you shared your experience, and I feel like people have similar experiences that, and again, I have no problem with interracial dating. Like, I have people in my family that interracial date. I love them to death. Even though I feel like my grandfather has diluted our gene pool, but I still love them. But I just think that if we're gonna say we're interracial dating, why is it that only black men can do it, but black women can't do it? That's just like, let black women do it. If they want to do it, why is it a problem? Like, I'm not saying you personally, but
No,
I
no,
mean,
no,
I
no.
see you see what
Well, see what
happens.
happened with Godfrey. Like,
Mm-hmm.
look what that situation happened. Like, I follow Godfrey, right? I think he's funny, but it's just like there's some of the things like on that thing he was saying. Like, I know he misspoke and he clarified about it, but because and I'm talking about on the men's side, we actually hit the opposite. We saying, well, why can black women could go get white men, but we can't go get white women? That's actually the narrative. I'm like, let you know, like we on our side,
Yeah.
we hear that, so we hear the complete opposite on that. Because my thing is, uh where like I'm not judging, like you said, you love who you want to love, but like I
Mm-hmm.
do believe in terms of if you choose about marriage is about priorities. What do you
Mm-hmm.
prioritize? Now, saying that if you saying that you like want black people and everything, like, okay, cool, but you saying you want white or Asian, wherever it might be, like, congratulations, okay. But my thing is, when it comes to a point that some people do have an agenda, and that's what some
Mm-hmm.
people need to be mindful of. And maybe my own mother told me that I didn't have to learn the hard way. It's just like some people are just gonna fit you into a stereotype that's gonna benefit other people and not your own people. you know.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
just like you have to be prepared for that when you choose the option of doing say going in interracial relationships. Not saying that's always the case, but just saying that there's people who do have an agenda, and there's some things that it's a for some of them it's a fetish thing.
Yep.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
and but it's not saying like it's all relationships out there, but just being mindful of that. And also what comes to it, you're gonna get the stares, you're gonna get the
Mm-hmm.
looks. Now, if you are okay with it, all right, fine. But the other person's spouse can't take it, then that's not like, then that's basically choose like I can't deal with this anymore, and then that's how the relationship will go. Where
Right,
it's not gonna
right.
move forward.
Yeah, and I think we as black people need to be focused on legacy and general and wealth building and generational wealth, because obviously we don't have that. I think Honest Truth actually was saying like the dollar in the
The
black
black dollar
community only is
circulates within 6 hours.
six hours. Yep.
Yes, and it's like I think it's about few 4 days or something in Asian and white communities or something, and then I think about 48 or something hours or something like in Mexican communities. But
Mhm.
black dollar is 6 hours. And on that note, I would say my mission is to create Black Wall Street 2.0. But my thing
Yeah,
is, it's
yeah.
not going to be, but it ain't going to be based on the foundation, because either the women are going to get there before we do, or what will happen. The thing
Right.
is, I'm not going to try to say like what happened with Black Wall Street. Like, listen, at that time, it was about survival and priorities. You're not
Mhm.
like when you're talking about the system, everything. They had everything going against them, and yet they still build a sufficient society or a sufficient group within the black community that
Right.
ultimately got destroyed. And my thing is, what are we actually prioritizing now? Is like, are we having a survival mindset as black men or as black people? Saying that,
Mhm.
listen, cut the BS. I don't care about your hair. Let's talk about this. Like, I don't
Yeah.
care about I don't care about, well, white man this, like, or I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. I just don't care. It's like, if I'm at the bottom, I'm gonna be at the top before
Yeah.
before my end of my life. That's how it is. It just, we need to talk about having survival mindset. When survival comes with no excuses, it's life or death. That's it. You know.
Yeah, and we need to be, and the whole thing about education not being important, or well, okay, they want to specify it and say it's not important in a relationship. But education should be important. It should be one of our top goals, because how can we move forward as a people if we don't have education? Like you said, don't you were saying you have like engineering degree and all that different stuff. I have a computer science degree. I'm going
Right
to
on.
become a forensic technologist, because I understand that there's a need for more black people in the STEM environment anyway. But
Mhm.
we need to be having more lawyers and doctors and different things like that. And it's like, but we're sitting here arguing about weave, about whether women should be twerking, whether women should be doing this, whether women should
Now listen,
let.
on that note, and I can
Mhm.
say that right now as a man, it's like, it's not you. It's just an excuse for you to delay actually getting started. You
Yeah.
know, it's all step is taken with one step of actually moving forward. Talk about the generational curses that happen in our community. It starts with one person. It
Right.
only starts with
Yeah.
one person. You know, and I think with the whole thing about education, because we can go one step further. Let's talk about the lack of black male teachers in society.
Mm,
Because I can
yes.
tell in my history, like probably even in college, and from elementary school to now, I probably maybe had a total of three. You know,
Yeah, same.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
definitely.
and the thing about it is that, as a matter of fact, I'm actually, I gotta write that down. Like, one of the videos I'm making about talking about education is like,
Yeah.
is that they see actually cognitive development of in young children with the study they did back in 2012. I think in Alexandria, like, this is near where I live right now in the DMV area, is that
Mhm.
they talked about how the significance in productive development in young black males, boys, when they actually have a black male teacher, instead of having another teacher, whether it's a white teacher, black woman teacher, whatever. But once a black male teacher, they see they have more, they're able to pay more attention, because they know that the issue
Yeah.
is that when black boys, which they want to try to equate to the whole ADHD thing, that are hyperactive in young children, well, the thing is that they don't see that the fact that the man's there, that he able to establish that sense of presence to actually initiate that spark in the children. So
Right.
and I think it was a book. I know my aunt, she's a teacher and down in Florida, but like, she actually gave me one of the books about the black tax. I wanted to, she probably gave it to my mom or something. I'd get it, but I haven't finished reading it. But like, that's one of the things that I wanted to think about, is like, the lack of black male teachers, of how that end, because we think that's I mean, a female profession, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
right. Yeah.
and I'm just saying the teacher is not just in talking about schools. I'm saying it's in the household. Like my dad, he did not have no degrees, but yet when I had issues with math or when I was younger, he was sitting there with me in the kitchen table. You know,
Right.
like he didn't probably, and then he worked on like even though he was in the shipyard, he understand like measurements and everything and stuff like that. But he was
Right.
there. He tried, at least he tried. And then that way to the point where I was the only few black males in my school National Honor Society back in high school. And then because of
Yeah.
that,
Right.
but so I'm just saying encouraging of that, the education it's talking about is a crucial thing. And it ain't we're not focusing on the shoes. We ain't gonna focus on all the other stuff that have no merit. We're not talking about the NBA and the rappers and all this stuff. We need to change to what the professional stereotype for black people is, you know.
Yeah, right. And that's the thing. All these niggers want to do is become rappers, become football players, basketball players. I mean, there's room for that. There's space for that. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
I'm not dragging those people that want to pursue that, but what else? You need a backup plan. Like we need more people going out there doing more productive things. And I don't
Mhm.
feel like those things are productive. How is that going to continue to what has those people moving on being successful did? Like my next video I'm going to do about is Jay-Z still doing chess moves. Like I'm still doing a research for it, but
Right.
because the fact is we have these black celebrities. They're supposed to be coming back helping us. I don't care what anybody says. Is their money, da da da, whatever. They're hoarding wealth. There
Yeah.
should be no reason
Absolutely.
why we're celebrating them being billionaires, but they have done nothing to do anything for even for their own communities. Like I mean, like I heard Jay-Z say he did some like community centers, donated money or whatever. But I'm saying, what about getting your hands dirty, being on the ground floor? You got all that money, you're not doing anything. You can start buying little things like buying houses up, giving it to black homeless people. Because those are the things I'm thinking about. Because once I get big, once I get more money, get more funding, those are the things that I'm thinking of getting this money, getting houses, flipping houses, giving it to black people who are homeless or who are have families and stuff like that, helping them if they're on drugs or whatever, helping them get into rehab centers that are going to work, and helping them get sober, helping them get jobs, people who are homeless, who don't have money or who are underemployed, helping them get better job, better education, helping them get this so they can pay taxes on the house that I'm going to give them for free. And I'm not going to be doing news articles on it. I don't want any recognition for it. I see that my community is in shambles and this is what I want to do to help them. And it's just crazy that these people do not have this mindset. You have all of this money, you sit in at a lack of love, lap of luxury. Like you're just so happy and everything, while the people are here starving. The people are here, homeless. It shouldn't be this case. And the fact that black men don't even care about other black men.
Listen, Jay-Z, Kanye, Kevin Hart, Will Smith, what who else? Go any other entertainer. All
That
of them,
mhm.
yeah, all of them can saying at least one celebrity can sponsor and fund a entire HBCU on their own. One. I don't know how many HBCUs we have in this country.
Exactly.
HBCUs we have in this country. I think is I forgot the number, but at least we have enough black entertainers, rappers, all of them that can sponsor the baby, the Migos. We can go. Drake. I mean, it just. I mean, I can go on, and just
Yeah.
saying that we have enough more, like enough in terms of black entertainers in terms of putting enough money. And I won't not even put a dent into their income. That will actually be fixing the solutions in our community. But
Yep.
I think to talk about is about, like I said, priorities. It's just like, what they can say the gesture about it, saying can be nice, but what it was about being kind. It's like sometimes being kind and nice are two different things. It's nice for you to give off
Mhm.
gesture off for someone because it doesn't really took any toll on you. Like, you know, it didn't take
Right.
enough of your time or investment, anything. But being kind of like, no, I'm gonna sacrifice some parts of my wealth for this. I'm a complete advocate for against hoarding profits. I do believe in enjoying the fruits
Yeah.
of your labor, just like anybody else should. But you mean tell me that most of these folks that you can't live off of just like a couple $1 million in a year? And now, if you're buying high end stuff, that means that all that money you're getting is going to taxes and going to all those things. That's to a point where why you have to get all this money because you're paying a living in very expensive things. Enough space where you're only two people living in a household, and yet you're in a freaking
Right.
mansion. You know, while the folks are homeless. So it's like I do believe in term in getting your wealth and everything, but also minimizing like some of your resources where you don't have to, like I don't have to buy a lavish car that worth $2 or $4 million if I'm
Right.
only making $800,000. That's
Mhm.
ludicrous.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We're not talking about black financing. Is like the things entertainers in our community, which I even use Jay-Z like used for like one argument I made when I was like on and at least the channel, whatever, because I'm like, well, I mean, you saw for face value, but when you actually did some research and did like something like, no, there's a consistent thing that's not happening here, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what's like the lack of education on my end that I had to learn that I was looking into where it's like, okay, where's most of these money going to, how much money they're putting into, and what the wealth they're having. Like even like was it Jeff Bezos? I like he has more money to stand on. And I'm just like, no man, I'm not trying to be rude, but no man should be will have that much money and with
No.
the problems that we have in this country. So
Hmm.
screw what Biden's talking about saying with screwing student loan crisis. He can do
Yeah.
it, you know.
Right. Yeah. He can pay for every one of these student loans. And now I don't know if you seen, but he's trying to fund like what $10 million or something to go with him to space or whatever the case may be. Like, why would you need that? You can fund that whole spaceship for yourself. You don't need anybody to be donating any money to you or doing anything. So what is the problem? And this is the issue with all the stuff that's going on in our communities. It's just no way that in the richest country or one of the richest countries in the world that we should even have poverty or um let's see, homelessness, food insecurity. I mean, all of these different problems. We should not be having this, but yet we hear on the news, oh, Amazon didn't pay taxes this month or this last year, or Elon Musk only paid this much 0.1%, or all of these big companies are getting away with it, and that's not right. What I mean, but I mean that's on a general scale. But as far as the black community, our celebrities should be coming back helping, and I don't see what's wrong with that. I mean, this guy was even like, well, it's his money, he can do whatever he wants to do with it. We need to be worried about figuring out how to build our own communities ourselves. Are they not part of the community? That's
No,
the question, like.
that's the thing about it. It's like when you're fixing like I felt there's one summer one of my internships I did was interned at a organization called the Youth Life Foundation and
Mhm.
basically targeting with the bettering like the community of kids in Richmond. And now my position, I was overseeing basically all the young black boys, and none of them had their father, none of them. So and that whole summer was talking about either providing education in terms of like building up their college resume or anything, or if they if they don't want to go to college, build out resources for them to go to trade or anything like
Mhm.
that. Give them some type of plan outside post high school plan for them.
Right.
But the thing about it, I felt bad about it because I didn't live I mean, even though Richmond in this area is like, maybe like an hour or so away or anything like that, I still felt bad that like I don't live here, but yeah, I had to come over here and help them out and leave. It just like
Yeah.
for me, it's like I even though I don't want to like denounce like okay, I felt good doing it, but also I kind of just felt like this the organization I was a part of, it was majority white and I was the only black like people there, like, and obviously I guess that was to my advantage because I was able to relate to them, they were able to relate to me,
Yeah.
and my thing was just like they grew up in at least they grew up in neighborhood that was similar to mine, but even though it wasn't the same, and I just kind of just felt there was like like a tightness in my gut. At least sometimes, like when I like even think about it, sometimes like I left there, and that I just felt like it's almost like this white savior complex, which I don't
Yeah.
but
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I think last year I just watched The Wire for the first time, which
Oh,
I
okay.
know crazy, but I just frequently cried watching that. Like, I'm not a
Yeah.
sensitive person, like I know you guys see me cry and stuff, but you know, it really hurt me because just to see how these people were like, I think about J. Cole's song Three Wishes.
Wishes. Yeah.
And I love that song because he used like the sound bites and little parts from The Wire. And when I first heard the song, I didn't watch The Wire. So like I really already liked it because of that. And it was
Hmm.
sad because kids selling drugs on the corner, and he's like, shoot, let's go to school, let's be kids. And he's worried about, look, I can't. My mom's on drugs or she's gone. We don't have any food. I have to worry about, and at this point you can't even be a kid. And then it's like, I think even in that situation, the dad was around sometimes, but he was on drugs. He was doing things like he was not that an active father at that point. And it really hurt me to see how these kids were. Like, just think, and even when they had the white teacher, like you said, the like white savior,
Yeah.
they really didn't respect him because it's like, how can you relate to me? What can you say? Whereas if they had a black, and I think they did bring like a black counselor or a teacher or something in there, and it was a male, and they actually started to listen to them. Like he was able to, and I think also he was from the neighborhood, so he was able to relate to them in a different way. Like, hey, you know, I'm just like you. Came from the same place as you. Like, what this is, I made it out. You can do the same thing. This is what we have to be looking at as far as we need more black strong male leadership. That's the whole thing. We need
Mhm.
more men coming here and molding these boys the right way. And that can only come if our men in the community change themselves. I
Mhm.
mean, even when I'm listening to these other lives and men or women are telling about their experience with their dad, even in their life, it wasn't always a positive thing. And we need to figure out what characteristics these men need to be growing up with. And the number one thing, they need to have respect. They need to have accountability. They need to realize they're not perfect. And I think that we have literally changed the narrative saying that women don't take accountability. Like, I mean, there may be some, but we have always been taking accountability for our whole lives. Like,
Well,
everything we do.
right. Well, and then the thing is like the whole talk about women accountability. Like I understand, like there's some women that are entitled, but the problem is some of them they're taking accountability for things they weren't supposed to be accountable for. Like you're taking our weight for you. Like like you're taking the weight of the man's accountability on stuff that we were supposed to be responsible for, and then you're
Yeah.
taking it. And over for years and years and years, what happened is that obviously built this type of intolerance of well, I mean, I can't afford to be to be I guess say to be emotional or anything like that because like my kids they need me right now, so just
Mhm.
like I can't afford to really take care of myself. I can't afford whatever that's so what ends up happening is then you're wondering why some of them don't smile because some of them are exhausted you know
Yeah.
so that's the thing. But and then going to the point of like some of the men about accountability is like listen, like I said, I love black men. I know you love black men. It's like they always trying to take the narrative. Like I think accountability to me is what love is. It's like
Yeah.
I love the people I hold accountable of, and I don't care about you. I don't care what the hell you do.
Mhm.
That's just how it is. So
Right.
the thing about this, I think the narrative that they need to change is that well, they just hate on us. Like no, I'm putting you accountable because I care about you. I don't care what
Yes.
they do. I don't care
Mhm.
what Becky or Karen. I don't care what I don't care with Ken and other folks,
Chad's, Brad's, yeah.
Jackie, I don't care what he do, right? Um, I just like I care about my people while I hold them accountable. It's the same thing when you're raising children and your children your kid acting like a fool because other kids are doing something. Obviously, kids are influenced by other kids and stuff like that. So you come over here and say, hey, you don't do that. Like, well, little Timmy, parents will let him do it. Like, well, little Timmy don't live here. That's how
Right.
you have to do
Yeah.
it. That's how we do as black people, and especially on the men's side. Like, listen, I don't care what the other races of men do and everything like that. It just I care what we need to do be better. I know the best of us. I know what we are capable of, and the lack of it is what I'm saying we need to be more. Because at this point, uh, we just talking about the excuses that we're having. It's only delaying progress. We're only
Yes.
delaying progress,
Hmm.
and I'm tired. I know I'm gonna be all right, even though I think I'm more hard on myself, think I'm not doing enough. Which is like when I
Right.
started the channel and
Same.
everything like that. Like even though it's only 2 weeks old, like I feel like I'm at my age, I'm still not doing enough because I feel like there needs to be someone there, and I'm trying to be the best of my ability to be that. When I eventually get married and have children, but I do believe we can get there, but it's all going to take with terms of having this unit. And I say with black men helping each other and not saying I'm not going to view you as an enemy, view you as an ally and partner, and we're not going to
Right.
have ego. Like ego, we're going to check it out the door and talk about what about priorities. That's the only way we're going to get through this, and we're going to screw racism, screw supremacy, so all that other stuff when we get our priorities in straight.
Right. I completely agree. And I do hate that narrative. Like if you're saying anything about black men, I don't find joy in saying things. I don't find joy in talking about the violence. I don't see why that would make me happy. Like I know when they get on there, they're all jacking off to what Kevin Samuels is saying about black women, and they love to hear any negative things. But me, I don't like to hear that stuff. It makes me sad,
It's exhausting,
and it
and
is definitely exhausting because I just wanted to change. What do we need to do? And unfortunately, I'm a woman. I can't really do anything. What
like
we
what
need a group of men. Like that's why the media is so powerful. Like I'm glad that you started your channel. Honest
thank
Truth
you.
has his channel, the deadbeat dad who wants to change his name. But you
Yeah.
know I'm starting to find out there, going on more channels and seeing that there are more men that are coming and talking to these men. And that's why I like when Honest Truth, he let them vent a little bit, but he like, we're not gonna do this. This is about you. What are you gonna do? Do you go over there and you talk about, whatever? And it's like they're not wanting to be held accountable for anything. It's always pointing the fingers. Like, and
Mhm.
that's why I feel like we need to come together as a community and figure out what can we do better, what needs to be done. Like, okay, I hear you, let's get married before we have kids. Okay, let's do it. Let's not even have too much sex before marriage. Let's do that.
Yeah.
If we can
Yep.
all just come to an agreement of what our community is gonna, we
And
need.
listen, and it could be
Yeah,
the woman, it's gonna be the man. I'm not. I'm just this
right.
one thing. It's just like because even then, when a man said, "Hey, let's do this," and his woman's like, okay," even though that she wasn't gonna do it in the first place, she's like, okay, now I guess this is fair game. Now, when you as a man establishing order or discipline,
Yes.
but you mistake order and discipline as terms of dictatorship instead of direction, saying, "Listen,
Mhm.
I have a plan and saying where we want to go, to make sure that." We do this the best way possible. Are we going to do it? No, the best way? No. Are we going to be perfect? Absolutely not. But at least
Yeah.
we're gonna be better than most folks. I'm not gonna say, well, it is what it is. Like no, that's not it. When we're bearing it's about when you get into a point where you have to bear life, and then now we're all broken because I'm like, no, I guess I'm done with you. We're not in love. We're in lust with each other. You know.
Yes, yes. And this is the problem. We need to also distinguish between that, whether it's love or lust, because that, just because you lust somebody, that can help make you get into situations where you're abused and you're mistreated, you're unhappy. And we need to be advocating for happy relationships. There shouldn't be anybody that's miserable. Like, I don't know how your relationship is. It sounds like it's a pretty good relationship, but personally, mine is the best I've ever had. And we never, in fact, we really never argue. We are just two people that respect each other. We do live together, so it's like, but we're just there, and it's like anything that I have a problem with, like me, I'm a passionate person. So if I have a problem with it, I'm gonna be passionate. Might be explosive. He might think it's coming out angry or whatever the case may be. But that's just who I am. And he actually, because men lead. So if he's sitting here and I'm yelling at him or whatever for whatever reason, and he's sitting there calm, and then he comes back at me calm, like, look, what can I do to help you or whatever. I'm instantly mirroring him, like, okay,
And
he's calm, like, so let me calm down and talk to him. And he's like, yeah, we don't have to do all of that, don't worry, like. And I had to really learn to communicate a different way, but he's led me that way. Like, he has showed me, like, this is how we can talk about anything. He doesn't get mad, he doesn't lash out at me, different things like that. And that's what I'm saying, like, it's things that we can do as a community to talk to each other. And but the men have to lead.
yeah, and on that note, I'll just say like, cause me and my one of my friends, like he basically is my brother named Josh. Like, I'm only child, so like he knew me since like third grade, and
Mm,
like we tell like I tell him everything, he tells me everything and stuff like that. And one thing we had a conversation, 'cause he's in a relationship with someone. It was about how it's like, at least as us as men, we don't like we don't hold grudges. Some dudes
yeah,
do, we don't like we don't hold grudges and stuff like that. But I remember like in past relationships I had been that he witnessed, on the side, like, listen, when I try to talk to her, like in my past relationships, like I'll be talking this monotone or like this, but then she wants me to get angry with her. I'm like,
right.
I'm not gonna do that with you. I'm not gonna. But then sometimes, like, and then usually it's a setup, because then it's just like
Hmm.
what happened is when you're having when she's arguing not about you, about something else, and you're just listening, and you're trying like, hey, okay, now you get to a point where this is now affecting our relationship right now, and I just need you, like, you need to calm down, just breathe. But then you want me to get angry with you, and like I'm listening to you, but I'm not gonna get angry to a point where now both of us are screaming at something, where instead of just like, all
Yeah,
right, get this out, now let's move on and move forward. That's it. And then she just like she couldn't take it. But then when in points where I would get upset about it, because then it's like you keep poking it. It's just like, I need why are you not listening to me? Why don't touch me? Whatever. Well, I'm just trying to calm you down, and it's not about a conflict that we have. It's about other stuff. You know,
yeah,
so that's the
right,
thing.
right.
And that was a very frustrating thing. So as men, I'm just like, listen, when sometimes when she goes off, and depending on the type of woman you with, and this is not a generalized, well, what way women act and stuff like that, because I
Yeah,
know, like, there's people are not consistent in terms of their personality and everything like that. Some women are just more not that intimate. They're not touchy or anything like that. Doesn't mean that they don't love you. Doesn't mean that that's just how they are. It's other stuff, other things like that. Or someone can be very embracive. So there is, women act totally differently. But with that, just as men, we have to make sure, like, we cannot be yelling at this. Like, I don't, like, I was raised, I'm not gonna be yelling at you. I can get upset and just, or have like a stern voice or something like that, but there ain't gonna be no screaming match with you. It's
yeah,
like, nah, like, it's not worth it. I'm not gonna cross that line. And even then, like, my parents, like, I can only remember with me one time when I was a child, when they got in an argument when they were screaming at each other, and I never had. And then, like, they saw me crying one time, and then that was it, and I never saw that ever again, ever.
right. Yeah.
So
And I think that, again, the men have to lead, like, and these men are not leaders now. I mean, to see these older men that are like 30s and all of that, 40 years old, online, just airing, having their mini therapy sessions or whatever the case may be about women, it's strange to me, because I'm like, when you're in a relationship anyway, you're going to be playing the game regardless. Like, it, there's going to be relationships that you're going to get in, that you're going to get cheated on, you're going to get mistreated, you're going to be unappreciated, you're going to be taken for granted. And that's just part of the game.
it's
Like,
a risk. Relationships
yeah,
are a risk, but
right. And if you
like,
don't want to risk it, why even, put yourself in that position to do that?
it's the same argument that men say, "Well, I don't want to get married because I don't want to get through
Mm-hmm.
divert, like, the get screw over with divorce and go through trial support." Now that's like saying, "Well, I don't want to start up a business because I'm afraid I'm gonna lose all money." That's
Right. Yeah, like it's gonna be risking anything you do. So if that's the case for anything, why would you do it? Why go after that job? I mean, and actually, now that I think about it, a lot of men have that mentality, and that's why they are where they are. Like, oh well, I seen this job that I wanted, but I don't think I'll get it, so I won't apply for it. So I'll just be broke. I won't do anything. I won't even get married because what if it's she tries to take all my non-existent money that I don't have. Or it's different things. Like if that's the case, then just die. I'm sorry, like just don't be here then, because anything that you do, you're gonna be putting a risk in. It's gonna be some type of risk involved.
Mhm.
So why even be alive then?
I mean, like, what's the purpose of living when everything has a has a cause and effect to it? It's just like
Right,
that's
yeah.
the existence of life, is the probability of chance of anything that can happen. But the whole thing of it just now we're kind of getting more philosophical here, but I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
But I like it. But no, it's just but going to the point of like, we talk about the breaking the generational wealth of like, well,
Mhm.
what what come a generational curse like in terms of family, in the black family, like when it starts with one person. But what comes when you breaking it? It comes with you might being broke. Also comes with you when you're trying as a man, when you're trying to change the pattern of function in your family, or I just got and it's just in man in general, you're gonna be perceived as the weak guy, or you're gonna be some of your friends gonna be lost. Some of your friends are gonna be people like, man, what's going on with you? Or
Yeah.
other aspects of your life when you want to cut out drinking or something like that, and the folks you used to hang out with, like, hey, what's wrong with you, man? It's just like, whatever. I'm like, nah, I don't want to do this because there's been too many situations now when it goes south, and then no one want to take accountability for this, and then wondering why this situation is going south, and I'm like, you know what? I want to better my life. I'm not gonna do this anymore. That's it. And you have enough respect for me to do that, then you weren't my friend to begin with, you
Yeah,
know.
right,
So
right.
but
But
yeah,
they don't want to be honest about that fact though. Like, every relationship is not going to work out. And just because that person was like that, that doesn't mean the next person is going to be like that. Like I've just had a firm belief that every relationship, I'm just going to treat that man good, and I'm going to do the best I can. And if he doesn't appreciate it, which most didn't, that's fine. I mean, once I leave and decide that I don't want to deal with it anymore, it best believe they'll be calling me back because I did everything that I know on my part that I did everything that I could do. But I look at these dudes in a manosphere and red pill, and they're older dudes though. Like I could see if they were teenagers. Like I probably wouldn't even care. I probably wouldn't have even made this channel if they were like around even your age and 17, 18, 20, whatever. If they were younger, I probably would have been like, okay, whatever, it's just kids. But we have this older man. We have men like Donovan Sharp, Kevin Samuels, David Carroll. Who else can I name?
you got the fresh and fit.
The
Yeah.
mad, yeah, Fresh and Fit, the roommates, all of these,
Now,
the
but think
men.
about this too. The roommates, though, they're different from like it's kind of thing because now all black and white with them. Like, I'm gonna watch interviews with them. It's
Mhm.
like even then, like the guy from roommates Hafiz, he's against the whole red pill thing because he's like, I'm for marriage, and then people ridicule him for that. So it's just kind of saying that even the divisiveness within the manosphere itself, it
Right.
still ain't positive. So it's just like uh, and that's why, like, out of all of them, no offense, like roommates and some people like actually like I watch some of their things. Like, okay, something I might disagree with or whatever like that, but like some of the things like yeah, I can get on board with them about. But at the same time, I respect him for even standing up against like okay,
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with this because some of y'all take it to fifth power.
Right,
Like
right.
I
Well,
can understand what yeah.
I hear what you're saying, and I think it's okay for someone like you to watch it because you can, discern what is like sane and what's crazy. You can decide like which ones you want to take apart from it. But I'm saying for the younger children, the younger young men, they can't
Nope, nope.
sit there. They're going to take everything that they say as gospel.
Your
You
face,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So it's like
but it's also and but the thing about this too is like I can agree with the point that someone that made, but it doesn't mean that it was their idea to begin with. Like for example,
Right.
like
Yeah.
Kevin Samuel said a lot of things that I agree with. Like well, like before the like the whole average at best thing happened. I used to
Yeah.
listen to him would talk about bettering self as a man or whatever, or like image or how to
Yeah.
dress yourself or anything. But I take it as from a professional standpoint. 'Cause I do believe in terms of black men controlling your image. I do believe
Yes.
in terms of getting your priorities in straight. Black men putting your head down, working and everything, building up your resources and stuff. Also, all this stuff about hypergamy, everything doesn't mean nothing when you have no two legs to stand on. I understand it,
Right.
but when it comes to other things is that inconsistent, where it's like I know it's a cash grab when it comes to like when he just the narrative completely switched. When you don't
Yep.
bring men to your other panel, but you allow the women to come on there, it's like, well, why
Yeah.
can you not be challenged? You know,
Right.
it's just like
Yeah.
and the thing about this too, they always want to say, well, why is all like a lot of women want to come on this show? I'm like, because it's like people like fame. They like to. I mean, some
Mhm.
people want to get in the chopping block for the 20 seconds of fame, and
Yep.
some people like uh like dysfunction and talk, and then that's why
Yeah.
most people popular. I'm like that, and so I'm not like when I see all the like women up there and getting blasted. I'm like, you know what you're going into? I'm like, there's so
Yeah.
many videos that went viral, and you would know like why how can you do this to me? Like you basically are going into this Zoom thing and then like you're gonna roast you about your edges, you're gonna roast you about your weight with the blue horn and everything. You're gonna talk about, your dress size and all that stuff. It's just like you know what's coming with the territory you enter. So just like at this point, I feel like there's no excuse when it comes to like when for the folks getting there, you choose to basically get, taken advantage of whatever,
Mhm.
when the whole thing he has, like I'll make you famous, he's profiting off of y'all. And he even says it.
Right. Yeah. And I think that the problem is within the black women, and this is the problem with black women, is that we are in competition with each other.
Yeah.
We're sitting here because I've literally heard on another panel where this woman was saying that she did see the average at best, but she decided to call in and said because she thought he would say something different than her. He thought he was gonna tell her some constructive criticism, and she thought that he was gonna be nice. But then, shoot, he was just dogging her out, saying you need to get an education. You aren't that good looking. Nobody will want you. And she was like, "Oh hell no! Now I see what your intention is." But my thing is, where's the girl code? Where's the solidarity? Because it's like when I saw the average at best, I never thought, let me call in and see if he's gonna say something different to me because I'm better than her. Like that never came across my mind. It was actually cringy for women to be on Twitter saying like, I don't know why you guys take Kevin Samuel so serious. Like he's telling the truth and he's actually entertaining. Like this is not entertainment to me. Like for him
Well,
to be degrading women.
if you notice, I actually didn't. I've been doing research about this. That all the folks that get on live and how their follower base goes up. Um,
Mhm.
so I've been noticing that it's a publicity stunt. They just want to get their fame
Yep.
from it. And the thing about it is too. When they go into in terms of the comment sections and stuff that he says, like they want to look to be ranked by someone of his status of popularity,
Mhm.
regardless of this, because you even see in the comment section people rate like it's like if you see in the comment section like when someone comes on like, oh yeah, she's a 4, she's a 2, oh she's a 8, oh yeah, yeah, she's a 6 or she's adjustable 6 or anything. They continually rating them and then like berating them and everything like that on the live chat, but they're just looking to see, hey, how you rank me on scale, because they want to see. To me, I think it's based out of insecurity. And for you to go up to this dude, the saying like you looking on a YouTube channel, tell him that you're never gonna meet anything like that. You ask him how you rank you, it just because you put your identity in somebody like
Yeah.
after that. So
And I think that is funny because these men, I've seen some chat like comments and the guys are like, I never seen them rate anybody, but just for you to tell me that, it's really funny because a lot of these dudes don't even be having avatars. You don't know what they even look like. They probably fat, living in their mom's basement, eating hot Cheetos, and like ugly
Yeah, but
can't get a woman because that's Kevin's he feeds off the Nick sales. That's who his base is. Like these people who want women and they can't get women for whatever reason. And mostly probably because they're broke, and it's fine to be broke. I mean, it's not fine, but if you broke, that's one thing. But these men have bad attitudes. They are ugly. They dusty. They're not good men. They're controlling. They probably mama's boys. Like I could name all of the characteristics that I know that these men are.
well, listen, it's like you have to understand like that point, like it's not the income that's is the mindset. It's like
Yeah,
about it, and the thing about it is this is like they always want to associate the concept talking about high value or like the manosphere points of better young men or red pill saying which are advocating for men's rights. I'm like, I'm sorry, when is actually advocating or saying that hey take as a better yourself as a man, but yet it's as red pill or as manosphere or saying that bettering yourself as a man, and therefore you're part of the manosphere.
hmm
That's not the case. What's happening is when you seen that, like I don't think also like it's just almost saying that hey, I'm for like let's say I'm for like gun rights, but that doesn't make me a Republican. Like
right.
it's the same
Yeah.
thing. And so they all associate. Well, when the argument as men coming through, they're thinking, oh yeah, you hate men because you're against this thing because some of the say things he say are truthful, but those are not his points
Yeah.
that he's
Right.
making. He's just
Right.
taking points of as an individual and you being an adult bettering yourself. Right, which is that's the point why on my channel that like target is like, listen, yeah, but men, I want men to become the best version of themselves because I do believe that we need spaces of men no, but for men by men to better each other, but in an edifying way. And
Yeah.
that's the thing, and that's what the problem is lacking is basic integrity. I want us to have a place where we can have like the view, whatever for men. But if it's rooted out of all this like BS of just like like, what's your uh yeah, we exercise options and stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
that's a load of crap. That's just
Yeah, that is. And it's not realistic. Like, and that's why I think these spaces are, and I agree, men they didn't have spaces for them to vent or whatever the case may be. And I think that men definitely need those spaces, but let's do it in a healthy way. Let's
Mhm.
not um demonize the other, women. I mean, we let's not do that to women. And it's like they're saying, I mean, as the leaders, you're saying, well, we're doing this because back in the day when most of these dudes weren't even born, Oprah just made these reality TV shows and she was talking down on men, but I'm like, you weren't even born, so how do you know? Kevin Samuels is telling you this, but you haven't verified any of the information that he's giving you. He
And
just can't.
listen, and yeah, my father's older than Kevin. Like my dad, he's 62, so like he's
Yeah,
10 years older than him. So it's just like, and I'm like, and I talked to him about this. Got shown a few videos about this. Now my mom, she hasn't seen them. I only told her about the talking points about it, but to my dad, like he said, okay, some things he might agree with in terms of like just as a man, bettering yourself and everything. But it's just like you hear
yeah.
about the exercise and options, but then he also throw the Bible in there, saying that a woman's purpose is just a man. I'm like, no, you only saw a fraction of what the Bible is. I'm talking about the points of role as the woman to the to the family or to the man. Like you totally taking the fraction of the truth. Just as I said with the, I don't know if you saw the stream we had. What was it of last honest truth
The
stream?
unsavable black man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
did see that.
yeah,
Hmm.
when we talked about the Matrix, how they keep talking about red pill, but you basically took the point where you look yourself in the mirror. They only want to use a fraction, just like like some people, even in the church as Christians, like that we want to use a point of scripture, a point of thing that just to feed our narrative instead of accepting the whole truth. Because once we accept the whole truth, it comes to a point we have to hold ourselves accountable. But we don't want to do that. It won't be feeding our narrative,
Hmm.
So
Right. Yeah, exactly. And this is the problem. We can't keep, not speaking the truth. If it's the truth, it doesn't matter who is telling it, whatever the case may be. And I feel like this whole high value thing. First of all, Kevin Samuels is. We have already proved he's not a high value man. I was making more at. I just turned 26. I'm making more at 26 than Kevin Samuels was making at 35. That's not a high value man to me. Like, well, I
Mhm.
mean, high earning at least, but
Right.
you're sitting here telling people how to get this man that number one, in the black community, there's not that many high earning men. Like, if we want to be honest. And I'm not saying like that's a bad thing, because we know how our community is, but the 2%, 1%, or whatever of high earning men, like that's just not enough for every woman anyway. But then to me, like, what I'm hearing, like, from these women are saying they're tired. They're tired. They're thinking, you know what? Maybe all black men cheat, for example. They might think that. Oh well, I've been in several relationships and all he did was cheat and use me. So at this point, I just want somebody with money. And I've definitely gone down that route. Like, shoot, just go for money. But sometimes there's dudes that are bad with money, and they're bad and mean spirited and different negative characteristics. But for Kevin Samuels to be literally degrading these women because they decide that they want somebody on their level, like, I don't know why that's too much to ask for. Like, so why can't men come to women's level then? Because if the women are starting to get up, we're working, we're be in management positions, starting our own businesses and doing all of this, the men should be doing the same thing, because they should have been leading us to that anyway.
Mhm. Right. Well, I think it's more of an imitation, like intimidation factor, because like I'm in engineering. There's like a few
Right.
black women that are in there, like in my classes and stuff. But like,
Yeah.
but the point of it is just saying, well, you think that it's almost threatening by saying that a woman's making more than me or anything like that, then that somehow think that she has a sense of entitlement, But yet,
Yeah.
but at the same time, what as a man, you also know that we also use our source of resources as a form of entitlement too, just in different forms
Hmm.
of fashion. Think, I mean, I'm the breadwinner, so therefore, you need to listen to me. That's not instead of saying, okay, I know my position is to be the provider, instead of saying, oh yeah, I'm the dictator, I have all the money, therefore you should obey me.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
not uh the play. Now, did some women out there kind of like use that? Obviously, entitlement is gender, like not gender discriminative. Like, there are people who are entitled, no, men, women, whatever. So the point is like, it just, I think it's just a deflection, just saying about, well, what about women being entitled? What about women we don't care about your careers? Well, listen, in my standard, I'm not having no dummy raising my children. That doesn't mean you have to have a
Yeah.
college degree. Doesn't mean you got to have PhD. I'm a PhD, all that crap.
Hmm.
But I'm saying is that at least I just want to have someone like, hey, I want someone at least to have not say a mind of their own, but also has an edifying mind of like knowledge to give to my children, as I do,
Yeah.
as you expect
Right.
me to do. That doesn't mean saying they're saying that, okay, well, you have a college degree, okay, I'm out. And just like it's just a bunch of deflection, and just saying like, well, it's intimidation factor. That's why I view it sometimes. But yeah.
Yeah, I've actually seen this white man on Exposed the Manosphere's page, and he was saying, actually, I don't know why women have education. They shouldn't be getting an education more than an eighth grade education. And it's like, eighth grade.
Grade. Eighth grade. Oh
What?
wow.
Yeah, like, now you want women to go back to the dark ages at this point. Like, no. And it's like, but they want these women, they want women who are mindless and brainless so they can control them. That's it. They want a woman that they can be in the house, or have her obey like a dog, just like O'Shea Duke Jackson, who Kevin Samuels frequently promotes, said on his thing, saying, train your woman like you train your dog to obey. Like, what the hell? And women love abusive men, so abuse her. The more abuse that you give her, the better, and she'll love you. Like, no.
Have you heard this new one I've been hearing called corrective? Heard this thing called corrective discipline. Did you hear
What?
about this? So,
No.
so
Oh
basically,
God.
it's a thing where they're talking about it said it wasn't a Kevin Samuels, but at least he's throwing it out there now. It's
Mhm.
saying that that it has to be a form of communication where you as the woman, you're not in a relationship, you have to agree. Now I have a word, let's say like banana or pineapple, whatever, mean that
Mhm.
we're having a conflict or argument, and yet you crossing that line. I said pineapple, and then you keep on doing it. And I told you that and I told you not to do it, and you kept on doing it anyway. So then here comes the corrective discipline. And basically, what he said, just have a hard slap, on something. Yeah. I know you've been hearing this. Yeah, have you hearing this?
I know their fraud mother, Shahrazad Ali, said that you're allowed to slap women.
Yeah,
that
that's
you
what.
should
Yeah,
be
that's
slapping
where you got
women in
it
the
from.
face.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, saying you get a hard slap, and that's come to corrective discipline. But you have the woman have to agree to it. I mean, therefore, be non-domestic violence. So it's like,
oh my God. And women, I feel so bad for black women because they are in a black male worshiping society, and I was in the same situation. Don't get me wrong. Like, I had to wake up too. Like, I have never dated any other race besides black men. I love black men. I think black men have so much potential, but I just have to be honest about this whole new generation that's coming through, is that they're watching these videos and is going on these websites and seeing all of this stuff, and this is just breeding them into being monsters, basically, like you said. And this is scary. What can happen when they're, they don't have their dads in their life? The single mother is probably working 2 jobs to even provide. She's probably not home as much, probably with the grandparents, or if that's even the case, he's online on his phone, just scrolling down, finds the red pill, finds a manosphere, and he's like, this is different. But he's not understanding the whole scope. He looks at this, but and then he starts to think, well, this is how I can get women. Like, yeah, this guy on Fresh and Fit with his dirty peen self talking about he slept with over 1,000 women, which I definitely am 100% sure he did not, because he looks like a loser.
yeah,
But
yeah,
like, all of these dudes are all simps. And just for them to tell, like, honest truth, like, oh, you're just doing this because you want to get women or whatever. Like, why does every motive have to be women and sex? Like, I don't get it. Like,
well, listen, I like, and the point about this, they always associate this because there's a narrative of they're talking about simp and just what it mean by being a good man. Now, obviously, I don't, the term that have been kind of like downgrading to a point, but with the terms of the term what simp means, mean that I am doing things. I call it simp, and so what the nice guy, whatever it might be, I call it a manipulator. The simp manipulator mean that, hey, I should earn you sexually from you because I'm giving everything you ask for, and also you can do anything you want to me, but I'm providing for you. But that's at the hope that I'm gonna get something in return, which is either sexual gratification from you.
yeah,
But that's the point. Now I'm gonna just say right here, like, even on to honest truth, and I know you can speak for this, whatever. The stuff that I'm talking about, I have no intention sleeping any of the people that the women on the panel or anything on the women in the comment section who agree with me. That's not the whole point. The problem is this, because I do believe those guys exist out there, which is another thing, which is why I didn't buy anything what Derek Jackson was saying with his ass,
yeah, he
because
definitely, now that's a real simp right there.
right, because that's the
For
point, like,
sure.
because like that's the point where, like, me and Truth, like, he said that he would want his daughter or something, like, go with someone like Derek Jackson. And I would disagree, like, no, because I showed before the scandal came out, I showed a video of my mom with that. He's like, hey, what do you think about this? I'm like, no, he's full of it.
Yeah.
And like, as a woman who experienced all the stuff that I told you about before, I'm like, ask her why. Because no, even then, you can have someone who tell you all the truth, all the stuff, and anything like that. But when it sounds also too good to be true, when he's not putting himself in that situation too, because he's talking about, like, he's always talking about the third person, which is a narcissistic type of personality that you don't notice. So it's just like, oh, or even when the point where when his own wife, the whole scene, him holding hand, everything. Yeah, Derek Jackson was with other women. Derek Jackson was cheating. Instead of saying, no, I was cheating. I cheated on my wife. I was doing those things. And those are some things that a lot of women or just people have to understand when you're talking to folks. When they talk about the third person, like to detach from themselves saying, well,
Hmm.
I hold myself accountable, just I'm holding you, instead of saying you do this, you do that. I'm like, wait a minute, you did this 2 weeks ago, and yet
Right.
you rationalize this, but yet when you come at me something that's even lesser than what you did 2 weeks ago, therefore I'm the bad guy. No, that's called narcissist. So yeah, yeah.
I just hate how overused that word is. I mean, like, I completely fully understood what I thought that I had a grasp of what a simp was, but apparently not. Apparently, every man who respects women or cares for women or speak out for women, or they're simps, and it's that's scary. Like, I was just seeing this guy on Twitter, and he's going around calling this one guy a simp, but like, you're a simp though. I'm confused. Like, a lot of these dudes are throwing these simp beta male words around, and different words that they probably just realized what those words were, and they're just using it every chance that they get. Like, no, these people are not simps. They can just speak the truth. What's the issue with that?
Mhm.
Like, why does it have to be an attack on a black man because you speaking the truth? Like, no, that's not the case. And this is why our communities will not get better. If we don't, somebody doesn't step up and give accountability, and it needs to be the men.
Hmm. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But yeah, but I just want to say I appreciate being on your stream and everything. I know this won't be the last time. Like I
Definitely.
said, I just appreciate just your kind words, and just love your energy and everything in this conversation
Thank
we're
you.
having. Even
Yeah.
when you came into truth, but even now, I just learn more things about you and stuff. Even though you're like about 4 years older than me, like I just
Yeah.
nice to appreciate it. And I asked also just feedback on any terms of my content, how I can be better
Absolutely.
to um just terms of mission of just bettering young black men and everything, because this is a never ending fight, but I believe it's just going to
Yeah.
be there. I do believe the collective that we have, even though we talk about singling out some folks and not as a whole, it will continuously grow. But I just think it just takes in terms of actual ambition and survival mentality to actually just build this narrative saying, hey, as men, we're not tolerating this BS narrative
Yeah.
that's ruining our image. I won't allow that. But then
Right.
therefore that doesn't make me a weak of a man, but or anything like that. But yeah, but I appreciate it though. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for coming, and I hope you definitely come again. And I will definitely be watching your videos. So I already subscribed. I got the bell on, so don't worry,
Thank you.
I'll be coming over there. So yes, thank you, and hope you have a good day.
All right, see you. I will probably see
All
the
right.
Truth channel wherever. But
Yeah, yeah, I'll
yeah.
be over there. All
All right,
right.
all right. I'll see you. Have a good night. All right, see you
You
soon.
too. All right. All right. Well, that was a very long stream. You know, final words, just we need more strong black leaders in our community, and hopefully one day we can have an honest conversation where people aren't being defensive and deflecting from the truth. And we have to really hold the real people accountable that need to be held accountable, which is the man. So thank you for joining. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Um, and please join us if you want to at another time. I can start scheduling more every week or something for it to be more predictable. But thank you so much. I thank you, my guests, for coming as well. And I hope everyone has a good day and a good Father's Day for all the good fathers out there.